Here we go.
G'day fans and welcome to what is the very last episode of Rip It Off the Card for this year. Not only is it the last episode, it's also our Christmas special. Yay team. Well, it's Christmas. As to whether it's special, that's another thing altogether. How about that? Now, I don't know about you fans, as all these people are joining us, and as always, Angie's the top of the list. Very, very good to see. I don't know about all you people, but in front of me, all I can see is a knob. And I tell you what, it's bloody annoying. So I'm just wondering, what about you, Aaron? Can you just see a knob that's in front of you, or does it just happen to be me?
You've never described me as that before. I thought you always called me a cool dude.
Oh, well, maybe you're a knobby cool dude. So there you go. So what do you reckon, guys? Is this the latest in Christmas head fashion or what? So I tell you what, it's giving me, look at that, I have a bit of a play and a bit of a move around. Jesus Christ.
I'm just ready for your
What do you reckon, eh?
I'm ready for your cat to jump in from the screen and grab it, sort of a stealth attack.
Oh no, she's snoring her head off at the moment. She's actually the smart person when it comes to this show. She's like completely bypasses altogether and snoring her head off. William has said we're both special, in our own way. What can I say? And Rusky Babes, as always, Aaron's World Christmas time. Excellent. Very, very good. And Gavin's got it right. Yeah, no comment. That's probably the best response, actually. So there you go. So as we said, it is the final episode of the year. It is Christmas time. That's it. After this, we're no more for 2021. I feel free to cry a tear of shame or enjoyment, no matter how you look at it. Funnily enough, this is episode 41. We didn't even get to the ultimate answer, to the ultimate question, 42, but maybe next year. You never know. What do you reckon, Mr. Aaron? All pretty good?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I festivized my hat, and I just look like a crazy bag lady rather than a Christmas version.
Well, that's exactly right. Completely. Look at this. Chrissy's like shedding a tear for us. Wah, sob. Yeah, sob is the old son of a bitch. Yeah, exactly right. So there you go. Greg King, what will we do next Wednesday evening? Well, sit tight. We may even tell you what's happening next week. It's very exciting stuff. So there you go. So, anyway, it's Christmas time. The store, as in your store, shuts in a couple of days' time. Has it all been the Christmas rush? Has there been millions of throbbing nerds coming through, buying up stuff left, right, and centre?
I would say it's more of a Christmas trickle than a Christmas rush, but it's been okay, and it's been good to catch up with everyone and wish them a Merry Christmas or Festivus or whatever they celebrate. Christmas Day and New Year's Day, so if you've got some time, you're welcome to come say hi and pick a bargain or something massively overpriced. We cater for everyone.
Yeah, exactly right. So you've still got a couple of days left, fans. If you want to go to Aaron's Collectables and buy the last-minute Christmas stuffer, and have a good time. Carol has said, yes, we've got to do episode 42. I know, we're kind of hanging out. What can I say, So two things before we move on to the really exciting stuff of the show. So I thought, well, my other half, she's nicking off to Sydney tomorrow, right? So the poor dag's on his own for the next couple of weeks. And I thought, mate, I've got to find whose house am I going to just like land on Christmas Day just to say I've turned up, just in time for lunch. What are the chances of that? So I decided, I'll go around to Aaron's place. He's having some bit of a do at some dude's house. And I thought, you know what? And Aaron, of course, is doing all the cooking. And I thought, mate, how good is that? I'll get to munch down on a bit of Aaron's goodness. So that's going to go down real well. What do you reckon there, Mr. Aaron?
I'm munching down on my goodness, especially you, Dags.
Totally agree. And you're absolutely right, Mr. Russell. Poor Aaron's, he's turned into a bit of Max Headroom. And now we're hearing your audio, but your video is sort of like jumping around a little bit. So maybe the Christmas Yuletide greetings at the Aaron abode is already struggling. What can we say? So there you go. Very good. Now, I'll tell you a funny story very, very quickly. We actually had a visitor in the store on Saturday. I think it was Grant Evans, I think. And he said he loves the show. It's awesome. It's great. Wonderful, yada, yada, yada. He actually suggested that we should have a new segment added in called How Good Is That? Because, idiot me keeps saying that all the time. And Aaron, he says, nah, too many segments as it is. So that was like, chuck, it's a chop, 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 chucked out the window. There we go. The producer has spoken, put the foot down. No, we're not having any more. So that is the end of that. So there you go.
I didn't say that. I said we can't do it at the moment. Maybe we can turf out Greg King if he doesn't come in with the goods once in a while. We
I think that there'd be a ride if that happened. What can I say? And Russell, we should have the bucket banquet now. That's an old joke about for a convention banquet. we were actually going to just bring in all this Kentucky Fried Chicken in buckets and just chow down on that, mate. It was the way to go. Very, very, very good. All good stuff. Anyway, there's a lot more we can cover. Is there anything you want to bring up before we move on to the show, Mr. Aaron?
No, I think this show is stuffed as a stocking before Christmas morning, so we better get on with it.
Yeah, totally agree. And we're sort of making a bit of fun with this one tonight, obviously being our last one, because we realise, hey, if we upset anybody, you've got a whole month to sort of get over it. So it's all pretty good. Anyway, so let's get on with it. We got, of course, the usual things to talk about. All right, we're looking at, of course, we're a collectible show talking about collectibles at Christmas time. There's nothing better. So what are we talking about tonight, Mr. Aaron?
Well, we've got a few things to look at. I'm not sure what order we're having a look at them in. Is the Doctor Who one up first?
You and your freaking Doctor Who, of course not. So there you go. And I like what Gavin said. Yep, let's go 3 hours tonight. Yeah, that's not really the plan. So now let's kick it off with a bit of Gremlins, man. Oh, have you frozen on me?
Gremlins, but it's not what you think it is. It's not. It's. Sorry, I mean, I don't know if I'm coming through. I'm having a bit of technical difficulties for the first time ever on our last show, of course. But this is okay. This is actually not an NECA trying to sell extra Gremlins. They've had the 12 days of Christmas that's gifts for collectors, and what they've been doing every day over the Christmas period, they've been putting up checklists of and different figures that they figure lines. Now, anyone who collects knows how important this is, because you want to get every single variant and every single figure. So over the Christmas period, they've been releasing one list of what they've actually released. Now, this is quite good because NECA have been around for a while. You know, they'll release a Gremlins 1 year and then nothing for a couple of years and then another couple of Gremlins. So we're just going to go through and show a couple of the checklists they've put out collectors. So there's the Gremlins one.
I like the fact that all of them say ultimate. None of them is like, you know, dodgy ass complete shit Gremlins. There you go. But yes, very cool.
And so this is the Toonie Terrors, which is lines that they've put out. And usually, you know, they'll put out one or two at a time, but this time they've put all the checklists together so you can collect them all and tick them off when you've got them.
Yeah, I like this one from Christy. Is Aaron buffering? There, he's doing something as to whether he's buffering or not. I'm not entirely sure, but that's okay. We'll plow on. It's what we do. So there you go. But yeah, you got the Toonie Terrors? Yeah, sorry for the pictures being so small, but you get it. You get the gist as to what it's all about.
And then of Turtles fans, they've released a couple of checklists for the different versions of the Turtles. So you've got the cartoon versions and the movie versions, the master versions, and some of the other versions. So again, Turtles have been a big line that's been successful for them, and you can download the checklist from NECA. And here is some of the they've released for the Turtles, and this has some of the villains that you could get from the Turtle line. So these are really handy things to have digitally, or you can print them out.
I love this one. Aaron's suffering from Gremlins. Yeah, that's kind of ironic, isn't it? Eh? So there you go. 41 episodes, not a fault, and all of a sudden a few issues. Now you're coming through okay, dude. Don't let it stress you out, okay? Very cool.
That's okay. And we've looked at these. We've looked at these a couple of times, but there's the checklist for the Defenders of the Earth with the Flash Gordon and the Mandrakes and the Phantom stuff. So if you are into collecting and you like to be a completist, NECA is at the moment letting you download free checklists as a Christmas gift.
Very, very cool.
And yeah, here is some of the other ones. This is the horror ones again, and a few of just the sort of different ones that don't fit into any categories, like the Battle Beyond the Stars and the Bill and Ted's, and some of the other gaming ones that are quite collectible with different people. Now, if you are the super collector, of course, you download all 12 days of Christmas or 12 days of Festivus, and you try and collect everything, tick them all off. Some of them are quite hard to find now, though.
Or the 12 days of Sithmas. Yeah, just go. Speaking of which, mate, we've had enough of this other stuff. Yeah, it's all good and very, very, very groovy, and Turtles and bloody Gremlins and all that sort of stuff. Let's get a bit of Star Wars in there, go, mate. Here we go. Now we're talking real shit.
Now, here we go. There's, of course, another wave of Star Wars stuff coming out before Christmas. This is the Knights of the Old Republic. And for those who played this game, they're releasing some of the troopers from that. Now, here are the full wave, which is 3 classic series releases and 1 black series release. Now, what's interesting with this, they finally justified the helmet that we were sent on Greg King's Stranger Things. Now, you might remember I sent off for a Commander Cody helmet and got this this black with an orange face on it. And seeing these Knights of the Old Republic, it actually looks like one of the troopers from that. So suddenly, this piece of high class collectible kind of now has more meaning. It's a super rare Knights of the Old Republic mask. Let's say it could be a scale accurate replica, but probably not.
Yeah, it's very funny. So when Aaron sent me through the picture today, and it was actually he picked up on this because he obviously did the slides, and we looked at it and we thought, oh my goodness, that actually is almost a perfect replica of the ARC Trooper, as we can see there. And using the old magnifying glass of truth, it's called an Umbreg operative or something like that. So you could argue that the way the guys when they sent the product out and all the rest of it, maybe they actually had some justification after all. But the issue is that they still promoted the wrong helmet. They promoted it as the Commander Cody one. And of course, this is just some random Umbreg operative thing from Battlefront 2. So they still screwed the pooch on that one. But the fact that the helmet, the fact that the helmet on Battlefront 2 looks so good seems to match up with the one they sent through. If they just had the right picture in the first place, it might not have been an issue. What do you reckon?
Well, they still stuffed it up. Instead of sending me a crappy Cody, they sent me a crappy ARC Trooper.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because had they got that part right, ironically, Greg King's Cheaper Things, not Stranger Things, but Cheaper Things, the segment would have been crap because that was part of half the story about the fact that when you got sent that and we made a whole song and dance about how you corresponded with the company and all the rest of it. I wonder if they have now twigged and gone, oh, shit, we actually sent the wrong one out. We've actually been promoting this, but it's actually been that. So how bizarro is that? And with that in mind, by the way, Gavin, as Amanda mentioned, I've lost my knob. Yeah, well, we won't talk about those sort of things, shall we? So, and you are right, Joe. Yeah, their service was right, but it was actually wrong at the same time because ultimately they did still promote the wrong product. But how about that? So, yeah, unbelievable. So what do you reckon, Mr. Aaron? Do you reckon there's like they screwed up 50% as opposed to 100% now?
No, it was still a crap product that smelled like burnt rubber.
Speaking of crap products, it's about time we got into a bit of Docky Who.
So here we go. Our last bit of news for the year. The last wave of Doctor Who for 2021 was originally going to be this, but everything's delayed because of international shipping and stuff. So this one was due for Christmas and it's coming out in January. And once again, we are getting it in Australia, so we don't have to buy them from overseas bootleggers. We can get them from Aaron's Collectables, this very amazing store that I've heard so much about over the last 12 months.
But don't go in on a Saturday because apparently the boss is awesome, but the staff member who works there is or was a knob. Absolutely. Very, very cool. So there you go. If you want some Docky Who stuff, and of course, as is the nature of this damn show, there's always a bit of Docky Who in there somewhere. So yay, team. Very, very good. Sticking with the theme of completely crappy things, it's time for this.
Useless Pop of the Week!
Go for it.
Oh, and this is useless. It's good we've held this over for Christmas because this is more like the series of useless pops of the year and probably the useless pop every single year because what Funko have done have gone down that very dark tunnel of trying to sell people digital content and pretending it's collectible. So this was actually submitted to us by Jeffro. And what this actually is virtual cards. Now, when I saw that, I thought, oh, pop trading cards. No, they're not even physical cards you can buy. You buy the digital version. So you buy a digital pack and you open them and you get digital cards that you can collect and you can trade them with other people and you can keep them. Because they're digital cards, they move and, you can change the picture around. There's different versions of them. There's not just Ninja Turtles. They're doing a whole lot of different lines when they've launched this digital pop collectible. But here's the thing I really hate. There is special cards that you can go and redeem for a real pop. So can you imagine how many people will just be buy another pack nut, buy another pack nut, buy another pack nut, till they get the one that they can go and redeem it for the real physical pop? Do they want that pop? No, they're going to whack it straight on the internet for $500 because it's the rare one that you can only get if you open the digital packs of cards. Now, Star Wars and Doctor Who and a couple of other franchises have tried doing this digital cards and digital collectibles. And I've got to say, some people do like them and collect them. It's probably the younger generation that grow up online and do like all the cryptocurrencies and a lot more I guess, a lot more into the freer house than I am, where I like to buy a physical item and put it in my room and slowly fill up the house with all these amazing collectibles that are probably going to be investments in the future, which is what I tell my wife. But these are just purely digital things with like a 1 in 100, 1 in 500 chance of pulling a packet and opening it and getting a real product that you can redeem. What do you think of these, Dags?
Yeah, it's somebody in the marketing department has come up with this idea, and everybody said that is awesome because in the end, regardless of how much people spend on them, that's all is the focal point. And if there's no redeeming feature, then it's complete tripe. Ironically, as you said, if someone buys one of these and sticks on eBay, it could end up on an eBay section later on, sometime next year. There's a question here now. I don't know if he was referring to the cards, but Glenn, who's joined us, has said how much. I assume he's referring to the cards. Any ideas what they would be selling for?
I was looking, I think they were $12 US a packet when I looked, but I wasn't sure because they're just in the middle of launching them. And they did have different packets and they did have different levels of collectibles. So there was a Ninja Turtle one and there was a Star Trek one. I don't know if the Star Trek one has launched yet. Or beamed down yet. And then there were other ones that they were releasing. So not only are they just releasing these to test the water, they're going full on across a whole lot of different franchises. They're casting a much wider net to see how many people are going to pick up on doing this. And I would say after the launch, they will do the analytics to see which ones sold the best and sort of which age group and which demographics. And then they'll go, okay, well, we're going to cut the Star Trek ones and we're going to go for all the turtles and stuff like that, because obviously this is one of those things they're launching and seeing if they can get people jumping on board. Interestingly, they've done this with Star Wars, and when they came out, they were quite popular and people were selling virtual cards on eBay because you can only get one copy of it and it's got a keychain or something so it can't be duplicated, and then you email that to another person and they can put it in their virtual collection. And it was huge for about 2 months and then it sort of all bombed out, and you ever hear about that again? Not really.
Throughout the entire time you're talking, everybody's been asking about your hat, right? Because the vial wants to violate it, so you want to know what happened to it. And William said, "Oh, you're using stick pins to hold your hat on." So there you go.
Well,
very, very
Dags
cool.
and I decided to make this episode festive because it's Christmas, and Dags has a Santa hat, and I don't have a Santa hat. But what I did have was Santa pegs and Christmas pegs. So I festivized my hat by putting Christmas pegs all over it.
Hang on. There you go. Show it off. Look at that.
Yeah. So
hey, it's like a grandma's bloody hat, that is. So there you go. Oh, yeah.
Well,
very,
that's
very
what
cool.
I
That's
said.
the best you can come up with.
I thought it was a good idea at the time, but it kind of makes me look like a bag lady. So
yeah, I was going to say that's exactly right. So you just need to push and trolley. I mean, you run a collectible store, and the last thing he doesn't sell is freaking Christmas hats.
Well, I have identical hats. If I need to change hat because it's too distracting, I can.
Oh, look at that! See, he's one he prepared earlier. Very, very good. Now there was a second slide. Are these? I don't know if these are the same thing or not. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Move on. We're past the hats down. Get on with it.
Okay, so these are the same thing. These are the Star Trek ones I was talking about. And what is crazy about this is even the pops that I consider crap pops. So like you've got the yellow Spock and you've got the brightly coloured Andorian, which they do in real pops. They've even replicated those in this crappy product. So if you've got a poor pop in real life, you can collect the crappy card of it too in the virtual world. And then you can see down below there's more of the Ninja Turtle ones, and then there's also AC/DC ones. The crazy thing is some of these cards I kind of think would be okay if they were physical cards you could get packets of and collect, because there would be not AC/DC, Iron Maiden, sorry, there would be Iron Maiden collectors who would get them because there's not a lot of Iron Maiden collectibles, but because they're digital, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, everybody's interested in your attire, right? So, what is the pick on Aaron's shirt? So, what are you wearing? It's like next will be what's the color of your underwear and like what kind of shoes you're wearing and all that. Merry Christmas. Hang on, get up a bit higher, son. Bit higher, higher. Oh, okay, very, very good. So there you go. Hang on. I'll give you the full screen again. Geez, you're a popular guy tonight. There you go. Kiss my. There we go. Oh, very good. Nicely done. Now, for anybody else who's watching this show, is there anything else you want to know about what Aaron's wearing, eating, smoking, drinking?
What we've both been on this whole year.
Yeah, exactly right. Very, very cool. Yeah, so look at that. Gavin said it's a great shirt. Oh, yeah, very, very cool. No one's complimented me on my shirt.
It's the same shirt as you always wear. We love it every week, Dags.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. What the socks you're wearing? It's like, oh my God, where are we going with this? There you go. I'll tell you what would it take for him to try and get his foot up on where the camera is so he can see what the hell his socks look like?
No socks, please. I'm British.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Yes, we know what he's been smoking. Anyway, we're going to move on. Otherwise, we'll never get... yes, exactly right. All right. So it's all very, very good now. Coming up next, and I've got to admit, I saw this from the last comment from last time. It is Greg King's Cheaper Things, which is absolutely so cheap we couldn't even put proper audio over the top of it. So I'm just going to talk over the top just to make the intro very, very exciting. And believe it or not, here we are. So what are we talking about tonight, old son?
There we go. So we haven't received anything new. I was hoping that we might get the Annie Locomotive Catwoman statue or something that we could talk about. But no, nothing has turned up. So I just thought we'd do an overview of the year because we're so grateful for the work that the Soul Greg King has put into this segment in protecting us from buying fraudulent items and crappy things online. And we're just going to have a look. I think everyone who's here will have an idea of what we've bought, but just a hit and miss of what we've had over the year.
Christy's asked about the vial as to what he's talking about. Christy, you will have to watch last week's episode if you haven't seen it. Everything will be the vial file from last week. I think it was last week. I'm sure it was. So the vial pantry. Sorry, what?
the vial pantry, and we were looking at. They were all genuine. They were all genuine products that you could buy, but some of them, unfortunately, when you translate things from overseas, it's a lot ruder here. And there was a Thai product which was just chips, but the flavour was cock bacon. So yeah.
And believe me, it went down real well. All right, let's move on. Okay, so what happened with Greg King's Cheaper Things over the journey?
So here is the most disappointing thing I think we ordered for the year. I thought we were going to get this amazing Jumanji board game replica that had a screen in, it had the magnetics to move stuff around, it had the sound, and it was fully screen accurate. And we actually got Trivial Pursuit Unhinged. And what makes this even worse is when you opened it, it wasn't even Trivial Pursuit. It was like a Snakes and Ladders game. There wasn't even any questions. So this is the item that I would have to categorize as the absolute worst buy of the year, for which we did an instant PayPal claim and got our money back straight away. So that's one that the Soul Greg King saved anyone else from having to purchase.
Very good.
Now here's a good one. This was advertised as a stocking stuffer. It had 400 Nintendo games on. It looked like a Game Boy, but it was called a Tiny Tendo. And what was advertised and what turned up was pretty much exactly what they said. It turned up quick. All the games worked. It recharges. If a kid got that and they were into retro gaming, or someone who grew up with the systems that the games they play are on it, that was amazing value. And I tell you something, Nintendo themselves have reissued a Game & Watch which has Zelda on, and the Nintendo one is about $80 from JB Hi-Fi. That has one game on. This is a dodgy one from China, and it was half the price, and it has 400 games on. So there you go. Sometimes Greg King manages to find us some amazing stuff to buy for Christmas.
And if you remember the episode, or if you never saw the episode at all, Aaron was unbelievably disappointed when it turned up and go, oh, this is actually really, really good. So it completely ruined the segment, as did this item.
Yeah, here's another one. Now, we had a little bit of an update on this as well. This was the headpiece to the staff of Ra. And it was so good that you couldn't tell the difference between the one advertised. Maybe it was a little bit It works. It's working. Maybe it was a little bit smaller than the one you might have expected on screen, but when you look at the imprint into Top's hand there, it was about the same size. You saw it, didn't you, Dag? So that was about right. And that was so good. I put it in the shop, and it went for 3 times what I paid for it. So that was an amazing piece.
Yeah, see, that had Scurvy Dog written all over it, right? He gets it in the store and he goes, yeah, it looks really, really good. He bought it for 30, sold it for 100 or whatever else. And he sticks it in there. I'm thinking, mate, freaking good on you. You're your own SJ bloody collectibles group. And he freaking sold it. So whoever that person is, if they were watching this episode now, they'd be going, is that all you paid for it? Oh, mate, I got absolutely juicy fruited on that one. So,
well,
yes.
Dax, the biggest overhead in the shop, everybody knows, is wages for staff. If you want to work for free, we can sell them for what we get them for.
Well, you know, whenever I'm putting stuff on the shelves in the store, all I'm going is ali, ali, up, blip, blip. Anyway, we move on.
This was one of those what was not fantastic, not horrible, probably wouldn't have bought if you'd seen what you were actually getting. This is a side-by-side comparison of replica books from sci-fi and popular culture and fantasy movies. Well, they're mainly fantasy, but there was The Never-Ending Story, there was The Dark Crystal, and there was Labyrinth. And the books they showed were pretty nice. The ones that turned up were probably looked like the ones that were being sold if you dialed down, and they were about like 90% cheaper. So the crystal that was embedded in the book was embedded in the book, but in the one that they were advertising it was like this really nice crystal. And then the one we got was, you know, you go to one of those bead shops and it was one of those type crystals. And then the stenciling on the covers of the books that they advertised looked quite rich and quite, you know, inlaid and very screen accurate. And the ones that came looked like the versions that were on the books if someone had just got a stencil and like painted it over really quickly. So I'd give it just a medium pass. If someone was selling them at an event and they were in Artist Alley and they made them themselves for sort of $20 each or $30 each, you'd go, oh, they're probably worth it. But when you showed a product that looks absolutely amazing, the one that was disappointing was probably The Never-Ending Story, because it is like a leather book with the brass inlays and then the logo, the Orin in the center there. And the one we got that Dags is looking at, the book is huge. The Orin is tiny. It doesn't look as good or as nice as the one that was advertised. And of course, 2 out of 3 of the books just stopped midway through. It didn't have the whole story, which kind of is bad if you're buying them to read a book, but these were sold as replicas. I'm getting the wind up. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. Because people remember the episode, remember everything that went on. So you got the books that were shit, right? That's very, very cool. Now, this is actually more important to read about. Kelvin has made a mention about me working, right? So what happens is I'll actually go around to the back part of the store where Aaron can't see me, and you'll be hearing these noises. And Aaron laughs at me, what the hell are you doing? It's like, I'm just trying to pick up Aaron's pay packet. putting collectibles on the store shelves, and I'm just sitting back there chilling out. So
I don't even have to ask what you're doing. I just figure you're doing one of the collectibles.
Oh, there we go. There's an extra bonus for me. So there you go. Very, very cool. Anyway.
This was the one that was so bad that just got a refund because it was like a deformer instead of a transformer. It was advertised as a $150 premium figure, and what you can get in the Australia Post here for under $10. But they put up a fight when I did a claim on them, and I actually had to go in on Greg King's behalf and get a stat deck saying that it was a crappy product, and then they came around and gave us a refund on that. So the Transformer, don't buy Transformer mystery boxes online.
Yeah, totally. Rusky, mate, the show's getting dirtier by the minute. You got no idea what's coming up. So you just stay on the episode. Don't nick off just yet, because believe me, there is far worse coming our way.
And of course, another one of our favorites was the clock that was the Alice in Wonderland Disney cartoon animated clock, which when it turned up only had a second hand and looked like it had been painted to about 10% of the standard of the one that we were meant to get. Chad, who I work with, wanted us to order this one, and he strangely was happy with it and liked it because it's a bit of a comedy item. So that's up in the shop, and you can come in and see it. And it doesn't tell the time, but you can run a race by it.
So that tells you the standard of staffing at the store. When you buy a cheap ass knockoff that really does look cheap ass, and one of the staff says, "That looks grouse. I want to hang on to that."
Yeah, but Chad. And this is the one we're waiting for. This was the Annie Locomotive Catwoman statue, which is this huge, amazing statue. There's no way we're getting it. I can't wait to see what actually turns up, or what doesn't turn up is more likely. So this is the one we're still waiting for, and hopefully when we start our show in 2022, Greg King will be back and sending us some pictures and doing a review of this statue.
And of course, the irony is that if the statue turns up and looks grouse, Aaron's going to go, well, that's a freaking disappointment. He wants Anne Hathaway to look like a freaking the head of a robber's dog or something, just to make it. Oh, this is grouse. We've actually won.
No, it's a win. It's a win-win situation. If it turns up and it's good, I'll sell it for 3 times as much.
You will too, you scurvy dog. So there you go. Wouldn't it be funny if it was one of the people who watch this show go, yeah, at least I know where it came from. So yeah, it's all very, very good. Absolutely love it.
So we're coming to the end of Greg King's cheaper things for this year. His garage sale is runneth over thanks to all the things that we've been ordering and stuffing in it for him. As you can see there, he's now got sponsors and he's got vermin infestation. But we've got one last slide just to highlight what a hero that he actually is.
And I'll get to that in a second. Now that you've seen what the helmet looks like, because we have this stuff on display in the store, right? And it looks grouse in a glass cabinet. Someone's going to walk in and go, oh my God, that's a Commander blah, 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 blah from Battlefront 2. Oh, I'll give you $150 for it. You never know.
Well, you read my mind, because when I get those 2 figures, I'm going to make a display with that rubber helmet and those 2 figures and say, rare import helmet, and see if I can sell it.
Yeah, exactly right. See, that just goes to prove, fans, as you watch this show, Aaron really is a capitalist dog. But anyway, so the service that good old Greg King has been providing to the world can't be overlooked.
So, yeah, we've come up with some mottos for Greg King. Wherever there is a price wherever there is a price too good to be true, you'll find him. Wherever the digital con artists terrorize the innocent, he will be there. When your bank account balance is 2 clicks away from purchasing an online mystery box, he appears. Protecting the gullible and stupid from their own collecting addiction. Saving the internet 1 chargeback at a time. That is his price match guarantee. The sole Greg King. And are we going to do the flash thing? Greg King. He'll save every one of us.
I'll just let you go it alone, because when you sing, you got to remember, I mean, I can go to bed and I go, you know what, I can't sleep. I count and sheep bugger that for a joke. I'll just listen to Aaron's dulcet tones going through my mind as he goes, he'll save every one of us.
I know, put me to sleep. I have sung once before and promised I would never do it again, but as it's a Christmas episode, I thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah, the reason why he doesn't sing again is because all the people in the local area had to take all their cats and dogs to the vet to get the hearing checked, and the bills were just through the roof. So there you go. Very good stuff. So that's good old Greg King's cheaper things for the year. Hopefully it's been enjoyable and a bit of fun. So terrible is exactly what his singing is like. So did you like the fact I just let him go for it on his own and go, oh, yeah, I'll just sit back here and just watch what happens. So there you go. Oh, my goodness gracious me. So there you go. What? I remember at Greg King's place over 30 years ago, a headless canine. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Whatever you do at your place, Greg, is entirely up to you. So there you go.
Headless canine, only worth $2.
Yeah, there you go. Just a man with a slab of courage. He's working at Dan Murphy's now, is he? All right. So that actually brings us now. We've got Greg King's out of the way. We've obviously got to move on to the next segment of the show, and it is one you are absolutely going to love. Of course, it's the Vile File. There you go. Lock up your nerds. It's going to be a classic.
The Vile has become bigger than all of us, hasn't he? And it's not because he eats a lot either. It's because he has a lot of people who are now his devoted fans, and he gets more fan mail than we do. I would say at least 1 or 2 messages a week are about the Vile, where we get nothing at all. This week was a bumper week, wasn't it, Dags?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. What should happen is like the Vile Files the entire show, and there's just a small segment of just you and I.
Yeah, can you just imagine next year it'll come back and the Vile and Greg King will be running things, and we'll have tiny segments in between what they do.
Yeah, exactly right. What would you call it? Aaron and Dags, or Dags and Aaron's what? I can't
bogus journey.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, you are right there, Mr. Aaron. The Vile has actually been receiving fan mail and it's actually getting a bit out of control, but we're going to check it out. So at least there's 3 bits of correspondence coming through. So let's have a look, shall we?
So this one's from George. Cool Harry Potter ornaments that don't at all look like Lord Voldemort finally got Harry and his friends and hung them by the necks from the branches of the Whomping Willow. Maybe Lord Vile can show them on his Christmas episode. Yes, he can, because these are the kind of products we like. These are real products I checked out that you can get, and if you like Harry and his friends, you too can make them look like they're swinging from a noose from your Christmas tree.
I just got the term "whomping willow" as like you find those on Hoth, do you? Because you got the Whompers on Hoth. There's like one called Willow. There, it's a whomping willow.
So
Absolutely.
the Whomping Willow is from Harry Potter.
Very, very good. And I just want to reiterate this one from the Vile himself. I'm right here, nerdy ladies. All the nerdy ladies. All the nerdy ladies. Oh, I got to stop singing now. Otherwise, all the cat. You hear the cats. They're all going right off. So there you go. Look at this. The Vile was like Chris saying, yes, and we're running as fast as they can the other way. Exactly right. All right, hang on. But there's more. Wait, there's more messages coming through.
So this one's from Alan Cole, who I think watches us on Facebook, on YouTube after the episodes have aired, not with us live, but he's commented a few times. But I pledge my allegiance to the greatest Sith Lord of them all, Lord Vile. As proof of my devotion, I send a compromising picture of the hated Jedi filth Yoda being inappropriate in public with his lightsaber. If you use this, all I ask is Lord Vile gives me a Sith name, Alan Cole. So you remember there can only be 2 Sith, a master and an apprentice, and Babu Frick is the dark Sith Lord's apprentice at the moment, but he will give you a where do you want it?
Open up and say Gavin.
But Darth Vile has given you a Sith name, and it is Darth Kremen.
Darth Kremen.
Darth Kremen.
All right, very good. Nicely. I love it. Very good. And Gavin's saying, yep, he's happy. Yeah, bring it on. So there you go. So, yeah, when you look at that Yoda, actually, all you got to do is go up to the Yoda, flick the end of the green thing, it'll go, rrr, rrr. Oh, dear. Oh, Christy, you have not seen anything yet. So, Jesus, Yoda.
Well, Grogu had to be made some way, didn't he?
Oh, look at that. The Muskie, his Schwartz is bigger than the Viles. Nobody's bigger than the Vile Schwartz. What can I say? All right, and the last one.
And the last one is another regular correspondent with Lord Vile, Susan Reynolds. I remember the unfortunate pattern break on the Winnie the Pooh bag the Vile reported a few months ago. I'm pleased to say that I'm able to submit this gift wrapping fail, which has the same type of pattern issue, Susan. Now, there we have the Winnie the Pooh where, because they've done the pattern break at a very inappropriate point, it looks like Winnie the Pooh is doing something...
Go on.
Something inappropriate, but the way I think this gift wrapping is amazing, because the way it's been wrapped, not only do you get, is it Charlie Brown or Linus doing something inappropriate to the other character he's lying on top on, but you've got Lucy in the background who's so disgusted she's covering her eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is Linus, actually. So there you go. How good is that? Yeah, just a bit of old-fashioned pattern matching. So there you go. Very good. And we've got one more.
And this is all the way from America, this correspondence. The Sith pantry was hilarious. It reminded me of the Dunkin' Donuts mascot. Does Lord Vile think he would have some of these donuts in his pantry from Lemmy? Now, that mascot, it looks fine from the front, but when it's having a break and you see it from the back, it's not looking as much as a donut as more as something different.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need a little thing saying insert tab B into slot A. So there you go. And apparently it was Marcy, not Lucy. Oh, I love the fact.
There you go.
So, very good stuff. Well, there you go. So that's the correspondence. How's that? We're getting correspondence from all over the world for the Vile File. How good is this? There you go. And Colin's joined us. You've come at the right time, Mr. Colin, because guess what we have to actually say? We actually now have to put a warning in. So you say your first bit and I'll say my next bit.
Yes, so the Vial has decided to help us out this Christmas by trying to get into the Christmas spirit, and this is one of the dark corners of the Vial Villa, which he has broadcast from before. And what the Vial has done has taken a classic Christmas poem or piece of writing, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and he's tweaked it a little bit to make it more vile and more Sith appropriate. So we are telling you now, maybe you've seen the Vile file and you know what you're getting yourself into. All of these products are real Christmas products that are out there and were made innocently, but there are some pretty huge fails in here. So we're just giving you a warning now. If you were offended by anything in the Vile file or have been in the past, this is the episode. It'll push it across the line for you. So without further ado...
Actually, what you're supposed to say, if you've been offended by anything you've seen in the previous episodes of the Vile file, you're probably going to be offended by this. So that's for that reason, you need to watch it, because it is just awesome. Get your comments ready, kids. Get the fingers on the keyboard. So, and with that in mind, okay, you've been warned. Off you go, Mr. Aaron.
So we're going to give I'm going to read each line of the Vial's verse, and then we'll unpack the pictures that he has sent to accompany it. So it starts off, "'Twas the week before Christmas, and all over the net, Lord Vial was looking for things he could vet."
And with that in mind, look at that. The Vile, he needs his own show. Joe has just said it's going to be bad. Yeah, danger, danger, warning, warning. Very, very good. And we move on.
Oh, and before we get any further, just in case you need any tissues for this show, and because Spider-Man came out this week, here is a box of Spider-Man Kleenex that has turned up on the market. And as you can see, in this universe, Peter Parker's web shooter is from a totally different area than his wrists.
That's what you call Venom, isn't it? Oh, jeepers creepers. Yeah, right. Yeah, I like this from Mark. He's just arrived. The first thing he's seeing is Spider-Man. Anyway, so we're talking about Christmas things. Remember, as Aaron said, these are all legitimate items. It's not us. Okay, these are things you can buy. All right, let's go.
Snowmen displayed position quite crudely. Polar bears in public behaving quite rudely. Now, these are shopping center decorations and Christmas decorations that you can buy and you can see. Now, I don't know what they were thinking with the polar bears. Someone wasn't thinking properly when they did that naturalistic pose. And then the snowmen as well, one of them is a decoration that's in a shopping center, and the other one you can buy and take home. You call it stacks on Frosty, I guess.
Well, what happened with the polar bears is they said, we've got a mama and a father polar bear. We're Wimpson, the baby one. And then somebody in the staff said, don't worry about it. I know how to fix that. So there you go. Oh, dear. Very, very, very good. Okay. Yes, very good.
Questionable decorations of all shapes and sizes mean all the good children will be getting surprises.
Now, with that in mind, you look at this dude up here, right? This guy up here, completely natural. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, is there?
Except when you turn him round, then truly you can see what a magnificent Christmas decoration he is. But I like the signs down the bottom, which are genuine signs you could buy to leave for your kids for Santa. And they basically say, Santa, I've been a good girl this year. Please stop. And the other one, of course, says, Santa, I've been a good boy. Please stop. Which is totally
I never interpreted those messages until just the way you read them just then.
It's all in the delivery. One of us has a warped, sick mind. Probably not you.
I was going to say, so whoever got this Santa Claus up here, and they say, well, actually, I'm giving it to someone to a friend as a gift, and they say they felt a bit stiffed up. They got it. Oh my goodness gracious me! Yeah, you are right. Yeah, Santa pleasure doll. I don't think so. So unbelievable. So it's a salt shaker. Oh Jesus Christ! All right, and let's move on.
The stockings misprinted Santa's hand in a clacker and waving round front like nothing's the matter. Now, this is another one of those misprints where, because of the pattern on the material, just by cutting it wrong by about 2 centimeters, it goes from a jolly Christmas pattern to something that's quite different, like Santa, or Santa the proctologist, or Santa, I don't know what the one from the front is actually meant to be, but that's quite funny, isn't it, where someone walks up to you in those pair of stockings and there's just a little hand waving from the crotch.
Can't say that. Oh dear! Oh, Jeepers Creeper! Oh dear! Yeah. Oh, what do you say?
Not much you can say.
For all the family. Oh my goodness gracious me! What do you reckon, eh? Yeah, I mean that's just amazing, isn't it? You think they would do something to fix that, but yes, yeah. What can I? Oh, very good. Santa's Claus. Yes, very very good. All right, we move on. Oh, this is.
Oh dear, you can tell this one's bad because so much of it's blocked out. Angelic cherubs hold candles so bright, Lord Vile turns his mind to twinkling lights.
You've been warned.
Well, we need a minute of silence to let these ones kind of sink in, don't we? The crazy thing is, why would you make the candles skin colored? Like, why wouldn't you make them red and Christmassy? And it's quite like, and then when the ones are lit and they've actually melt, they actually get ruder and worse the longer you use them.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Eh? When Aaron sent me these pictures about 3 months ago, I thought, oh my God, we're going to a whole new level in this show. But these are all, we didn't manufacture these. Someone else manufactured them. It's just the way it worked out. Shouldn't we? Yeah, exactly right. Well, exactly right. How stupid are these people? So there you go. Yeah, there are no.
Well, the singing expression
my
on
goodness.
the faces actually makes it worse.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh God, let's move on before we get ourselves into more trouble. But here you go.
Lights are all hung to tempt St. Nick. Giant pairs of undies and more than one dick. Now, again, who was thinking about what these were meant to look like? You can decorate Christmas trees, but when you decorate a palm tree to look like a Christmas tree, it's never going to come out looking like anything appropriate. And then when you decorate Santa and you give him 2 massive balls down the front, I mean, you're only going to get one result from doing that. And then there's the building at the top where I guess they've tried to put Christmas candles, but someone had to be having a joke. No one thought they were going to look more like candles than they were erect penises, did they?
Hang on. What did you guys look like?
Yeah, my search history has me on a police watch list.
That's so wrong. I just realized the picture at the top up here, they look like Y fronts, don't they? So what the hell's that meant to be?
I don't know, like I don't know what they are meant to be, but they are a genuine, legit Christmas lights in a town in America. And then you've got the Santa. It's a bit hard to see on the far right, which getting special attention from a little Christmas angel there. And I don't know why they would have done that in that position either.
Yeah, that's a slightly inappropriately placed trumpet. What can I say? So there you go. Very good. Oh, dear. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, very, very good. All right, we move on.
And lights that impress just as much in the day. And jumping from a bridge means Santa's on his way. Now, I thought these were interesting because they set these up, as movable lights at night, but they don't think about what they're going to look like during the day. And you've got Santa there. Obviously, he's picking up and throwing presents or something. But when you see just the silhouette of them during the day, it looks quite disturbing. And the other thing I find disturbing is you've got Santa standing on a bridge with "Jump for Joy" at Christmas.
Oh dear, that's amazing. And I'm looking at these things down here now because of the way the photograph is taken. You could misinterpret the 10. What that word is, lights.
10.
Jesus Christ.
It is flickering lights, but the I and I guess the L and the I are too close together.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's definitely easy to misread that, but yeah, it's pretty funny, isn't it? Unbelievable.
The food's been prepared and the table's been laid, but cookies for Satan just don't make the grade. Now, this is one of those things where there was a spelling mistake and it's obviously cookies for Santa. But, yeah, they went with cookies for Satan. The other one sorry, go.
Go.
But the one I find the most hilarious is where Santa's been working all night and not been allowed to have a toilet break. So he is personally, I guess, putting topping on the short stack of pancakes there.
Now the funny thing is, you look at this chocolate Santa here, right? Now this is a manufactured item that you can buy and munch down on, right? Perfectly legitimate. Give that to your kids. No worries. There you go, little Johnny. Enjoy one of those. And what do you reckon it looks like when you unwrap it?
Well, I wonder if it's a 4 cream one.
I've got ready to rock. Oh goodness gracious me! Eh? So there you go. Oh,
and then the place setting up the top. Someone's obviously folded the napkins to try and make them look swish and swanky and high class. But when they've lined them all up together, obviously whatever they were planning didn't come to fruition, and it just looks again like a bunch of dicks.
Yeah, it's just wrong, isn't it? Eh? But yes, cookies for Satan. Absolutely love that. You buy the knob napkins. Why for the kids? Oh goodness gracious me! So there you go. Yeah, so you're right, Thomas. It is not right. And in fact, when Aaron sent me these pictures, especially of the chocolate Santa a few months ago, I cracked up like you wouldn't believe. I thought, mate, anybody think that was a fake item? But no, it's actually legitimate. So there you go. We'll let Granny fold my napkins.
You dirty old
friend. Dear. Oh yeah, you're right, Williams. Yes, yeah, it's been shafted. Absolutely fantastic. Oh gosh, let's get to the end of it, or not.
And now the vial didn't even change the words to this this verse from the poem. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donna and Blitzen. Oh, well, this is another one of those things where the designers obviously thought something was good at the time until they get displayed. I do think it's hilarious. Someone has to be having a joke where they've put the balls of holly on that reindeer that's sitting there, though, don't they, Dags?
Look at the expression. Oh goodness gracious me! Hey, isn't that absolutely awesome? And as you can see, yeah, this reindeer here, he got known as the nickname of Klondike. He was the brown nosed reindeer. He used to fly behind Rudolph, but just couldn't stop as fast. Oh God, you're killing me. So there you go. All right, very, very good. But we keep going.
With family dressed in the best Christmas threads, the children are hyper and mum's off her meds. Now, these are, again, they're off a site called Awkward Family Photos, and these are the Christmas edition ones. Now, I can understand if you go and have a bad Christmas photo, sometimes, you know, that just happens because someone will move or the kids won't smile, or you wear something and it doesn't look as good in the photo. But some people just you know, just go for it anyway. I don't know what the sort of weight lifter guy who's gone just in his pair of Speedos and the Christmas tree was trying to go for. Like, did he put that on his Christmas cards and send it to his friends?
Yeah, don't know. Absolutely do not know. So there you go. Anyway, but we move on.
And portraits with Santa can sometimes be hard, with many young children now mentally scarred. This is quite funny. My son Kale, he would not have a bar of Santa. We don't actually have Santa photos for most of his life because he would just like, nah, not doing it. But some parents decided they were going to get the family photo anyway. And you can see these kids are going to be mentally scarred for life and probably hate Christmas just that little bit because of their close encounters with Santa year after year.
Yeah, exactly right. So there you go. Good stuff. How about that?
Some choices for trees this year seem quite absurd. Giant sex toys, a plunger, or a glittering turd.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was a plunger up there. They've turned those into Christmas tree things. So what's the
They,
deal with
they,
that, do you reckon?
they are the real deal, where you can get a plunger and someone has put sprigs of fake pine into it to try and make it look Christmas tree. I guess you can feel the spirit of Christmas while you unplug your toilet. But the thing I find interesting, there's the Santa in the top corner there is actually a slide. So you climb up Santa's back and you slide down and slip out from between his legs. And I have put him there because underneath is a real Christmas tree, which is absolutely huge. You can't really see the scale of it, but it really does look like a Mr. Whippy has pinched one off.
Yeah, Colin's picked up on it. That thing there. Yeah, what do you reckon that could possibly be? Yeah, that's only got one purpose in life, so make of that what you will. So there you go. Oh, dear. Not right.
Presents all wrapped to put under the tree. Look at the shapes. Can you guess what they will be?
Oh, goodness gracious me. Yeah, I like that. So can you read that one? Yeah, to Evan from Hobo Santa. So yeah, make of that what you will. What do you reckon,
Well,
dude?
I think it was because the wrapping is just a freezer bag type thing you'd get, and they haven't put any effort into it. But the interesting one down the in the middle there at the bottom, which looks very suggestive. Do you know what that is, Dags?
No.
It's a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, like when the vial sent that through, it had a little comment on like note to self, reminder: don't take the vacuum cleaner out of the box before you wrap it.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, that is very, very cool. That was probably quite intentional, but yeah, it's funny how you can just misinterpret these things, eh? So there you go.
Another year over, gifts sorted and rated. Another year Christmas has been well and truly violated.
Absolutely. So there you go. How about that? And with that in mind, even the vial has got to say, once I press the button, there we go. A bit of a very vilely Christmas for everybody. Yay, team. So what do you reckon there, Mr. Aaron?
Yeah, that's great. It was very nice of the vial to put so much effort into that. What he's actually doing there is using evil Sith lightning, and he is filtering it through candy canes to violate Christmas with his evil ways. So if anything bad happens to you over Christmas, you can blame it on watching this segment.
I like this one for Rusky Babes. Yeah, what kind of a bastard gives his missus a vacuum cleaner at Christmas? Obviously not a very good missus. What can I say, eh? So there you go. How about that? Unbelievable. Yeah, I agree with you. Brain needs a shower. I know it's a bit wrong, isn't it? But what can we say? Oh, so right. What do you reckon then, Mr. Aaron?
I think it's fantastic, and just all those products are real, and the really rude ones I couldn't show.
Look at this state-of-the-art vial file. Absolutely. And yes, it will no doubt be back in 2022. So how good is that?
So I don't know if we'll put that up as a gallery on the Sci-Fi Zone. I don't know if it really fits. No,
I don't think we will. Don't talk about. We were talking about butt plugs earlier. Now, don't talk about things that will fit. So that's just don't put those things in the same sentence. So there you go. And what can I say? So wrong, but oh so right. Exactly right. I forgot what I was going to say now. No, I've just gone completely blank. So there you go. Very, very good. Yes. All right. So we shall move on. Yeah. So you go on.
19 viewers with dirty little minds made it all the way through that segment and are still here.
Kelvin, those are really, really awful pictures, but they weren't our pictures, they were someone else's. So there you go. We're quite innocent. All right, let's move along to something a little bit more general audience, shall we?
Ooh, baby, do you know that's what...
All right. What do we got tonight, Mr. Aaron?
Well, this is our eBay Guess the Price Christmas edition, where we're looking at tacky tinsel and moth-eaten trees from yesteryear to see if there is any collectible value to the festive time of the year.
Earlier we just said Russell, so what kind of bastard, buys a vacuum cleaner for the missus, and then Rick Christie said, yeah, somebody wants a divorce. I love that. We haven't started, and Andrew's already put in 20 grand, so absolutely love it. So there you go. Yeah, I know I'm a random snorter. I can't help it. So very, very good. All right. So for those who don't know about this segment, the idea is that you put your bids in for items that have sold, and I think we've got a Christmas theme today. Oh, funny enough. And here we are.
Now, this is one of the most fantastic items I've seen on eBay that would not be allowed in my house ever. This is advertised as a Hobbit Reborn, Lord of the Rings, Fred the Elf, Baby Doll Christmas. And it's one of those, they're newborn dolls. So for people who really like ultra realistic baby dolls, they make these ones. But this one has been changed. So it has the pointy ears. It's sort of wearing Hobbit clothes. And then it's been themed as an elf or a hobbit or something like that. What do you think of this, Dags? You'd buy one, wouldn't you?
That's freaking shit house, isn't it? It's bloody. That's the kind of thing that would give you nightmares at night. I like what William said. He'd give you $4.50 for the previous segment. Absolutely love. I've seen some of these things before, and they make them real life. And I don't know. It takes a special person to really get involved with this stuff, because there are some people who have them and treat them as real babies and all that. So anyway, so there you go. So we're calling it a Hobbit Reborn. Make of that what you will. Andrew said 20 grand. So whether he's going to stick with that or not, I don't know. Violating the Hobbit, as one must should, is the Vile, who's just had his own segment, his own Christmas segment at 3,500. Thomas at 3,700. Hang on. Collins at 60. Mick's at 350. A lot of comments, but no prices. Gavin has said 54. I agree with you, Kelvin. It does need to be destroyed, so you can buy it and get rid of it. So there you go. Greg has said he's not even going to put his $2 on this one. You know what? I don't blame you either. 15 for Joshua. Rob said 25. William has also said 25. Carol said 560. I'd be interested to see if anybody watching this show would say, yes, I'd love to have one of those. Where was I? Rusky Babes is at 75. Kelvin's at minus 200. Yeah, don't blame me on that one. Yeah, they should give you money to take it away. Chrissy said $1. And was it 50 cents for the ring? Keep the doll. Yeah, exactly right.
And
yeah,
Glenn on eBay has given us $50. I don't know.
Yes, sorry, Mr. Glennis. I did miss you there. $50 for Glenn. So very, very cool. So there you go. Burn, baby, burn. Yes, you're exactly right. All right. So what do you reckon it went for? The Hobbit Reborn, Lord of the Rings, Fred the Elf, all of the bullshit things. But in the end, it's just plain damn creepy. And it went for, now, did it go for a lot, or did it go for absolutely jack shit? It went for a whopping 500 wasted dollars. What do you reckon, man, Mr. Aaron?
I know there's collectors for everything, but not that they are not for me. $500 is probably what they go for. I've seen those sort of newborn baby things go for quite a bit, but it's not an area of collectible that I'm into or would get into or would have in the shop.
Yeah, I'd love it if somebody just came into the store and said, hey, I want to sell a shitload of these things. Were you ready to good to go? So, yes, Carol's got this. And you get $60 back, Carol, to and the $60, you can use that to ship the damn thing off to another country and hopefully never see the damn thing again. So there you go. Actually, you are right, Gavin. Now set up for Halloween. So, but yeah, $500 for that is just, just wrong, isn't it? So, yeah, unbelievable. Totally agree. So there you go.
My name...
Marcus said he was a stick with Doctor Who. Actually, if you had to put Time Lord on it and just redress it, put a scarf on it, suddenly you got a Doctor Who collectible. What would your Greg King do then? So what do you reckon, old son? My
name is Talkie Tina, and I love you very much.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So,
oh, geez, that's be rough. Send it to New Zealand. Jeez. Anyway, move on.
Yeah, throw it in the cracks of doom and watch it burn. So here is the 2 Christmas-themed Lego sets. Now, every year at Christmas, Lego bring out another item for their Christmas village, and you can buy them each year and slowly grow your village. You can buy the train set, and it's in a circle. You can run around the tree. So these are a collectible-themed Lego Christmas type thing that people collect. How much would you expect to pay? Probably a lot more than you'd expect.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you'd build the damn thing and then you dress up as Godzilla and just smash the living shit out of it. How good would that be? And then you just rebuild it and do it all over again. All right, so Angie's come up with $275. Gavin's at $490. Grant has gone $1,000. Oh, he's optimistic. $300 for Joshua. Thomas is at $750. No one's going cheap on this one. Carol's gone $700. Which is particularly groovy. Everybody loves their Lego. Mick is at $580. Mark is at $600. Christy has gone 12. Oh, God, that's only $6 a box. Rob is at $400. William's at $1,200. Violating the Lego train station is the Vile at $300. Kelvin is $600. Colin is at $500. So what you need is some Lego dudes out there to put their bids in to see what they think this is worth. So there you go. Sealed. It is sealed. So there you go. How good is that? Winter holiday train, village station, Christmas, yada, yada, yada. All very good. And Glenn is coming with 100 as well, which is kind of groovy. And I think Colin said 500, yeah, which is all good. All right, so what do you reckon it went for? Surely if it's sealed, it's a train set, and it's Christmas, it must be worth a fair whack of dollars. Surely. So how much did it go for? It went for a whopping 678.
So is that Kelvin at 600, or did someone get closer?
I think I'm going to go with Carol on this one at this stage, but hang on. No, hang on. No, I was right the first time. Sorry.
Yeah,
anything you want to say about this while I have a look?
Well, not about that. Your comment earlier that was off the cuff is a fantastic idea. You know, Brickvention's coming up in January. Anyone who put on a giant Godzilla costume and ran through that and knocked over everyone's displays and filmed it and put it up on YouTube, that'd get 1 million hits.
Mate, what do you mean it was off the cuff? I've been wanting to do that for 100 years. Huh? They're just, you look at those train sets and you go, mate, all you need to do is just stick a foot right through those buildings. So it looks like Carol's got this again. She's batting 2 for 2 at the moment, and you still get change. So there you go. You get like $30 back or something. So how good is that? Oh, you're cooking on gas. So very, very cool. Christy said she admitted 120 but didn't want to correct. That's okay. No, it's all good. So there you go. All right, we move on. Third one up.
So here's something really interesting. These are vintage Christmas lights. So they're vintage Japanese Christmas lights times 2. You can't really read the description, but basically there's one set that work and are fine, and then there's a second set that have a couple that you can use the bulbs. So any of the first set that die, you can change them over. So this is just an old set of Christmas lights. Surely these are rubbishly old tap from Greg King's garage sale and will only go for a couple of dollars.
I love it. We're way into the eBay segment, and Joe's still like struggling over the whole file. you have to go to build a bridge, mate. Move on, build it, and get over it. We're moving on. We've moved on. I'll get it right eventually. Sorry, it's the tongue-tied thing kicked in. So yeah, build a bridge, get over it. We're on to a different segment now, but I do understand where you're coming from if you are a tad traumatized. All right, vintage Japanese Christmas lights. Andrew said 500. Gavin has said 257. Mick has said 65. Grant has said 2 dumplings. Okay, fair enough. Very good. 75 for Joshua. Thomas is at 8. Christy is at 1. That's probably not a bad bet, actually. 15 for Carol. Batting 2 for 2. Would she get the trifecta? Rob is at 4. Glenn, oh my God, 300. Holy guacamole. $2 for Greg King. Absolutely. 10 for Kelvin. Williams at 75. Marcus at 400. Rusky Babes has said 400. Rob has said 12. And violating the Japanese Christmas lights is the Vile at 25, which is kind of groovy. So how good is that? So yeah, tell you what, the box itself looks like it's been through the wars, hasn't it? So there you go. Colin said 40, which is particularly groovy. So there you go. Vintage Japanese Christmas lights. Some of them work, some of them don't. It's all a bit of shit, really. What it comes down to is someone's just found this box of crap, stuck it on eBay and said, what the hell? Away we go. And how much do you reckon these went for? Do you reckon these went for a shitload of dollars or as cheap as chips? They went for a whopping $340 effing dollars. What's the deal with that?
I know. And there's four bids on that. I was just thinking the number of amazing, treasures that are put away in people's garages that they don't know about. I've never personally had a look for Christmas collectibles before, and I've only done it for this show. And I was stunned at the prices of some of these old collectibles go for.
Mate, this isn't clear. This is shit. It's not a treasure. It's just rubbish. Just some knobs have just couldn't help themselves and decided to buy it. Okay, well, I can tell you who didn't get it. Carol didn't get it for 15, so she's out. Yeah. It looks like there's a whole range of people here who may be very, very close. So Glenn said, hang on. Yeah, so Glenn's at 300. He's probably the closest because a lot of people at 400. So yeah, Glennis, it could be yours, mate. You got some Japanese Christmas lights, most of which don't work, coming your way. So how good is that? Very, very good. So yes, it just goes to show, doesn't it? All you need is a couple of people to go chasing after a couple of things or something that's really, really dodgy, and before you know it, the price has gone up and everybody's happy. So there you go. Very good. I like it. You could do the whole. Yeah, you're right. You could decorate the entire house for $340. So that's completely holy freak, man. Very, very good. Inga, sorry you're a bit late. You missed for the party, but $3. You weren't even remotely close. What can I say? But they're lucky to get a globe for that. So there you go. Very, very cool. All right, we move on. Oh, mate, got to get yourself a tree.
Now, this is interesting. This is one of those things where I laugh because, someone puts vintage and rare in front of anything and they think they're going to get bids on it. Vintage, rare, collectible, 60s Starlight, aluminium green tinsel Christmas tree. Now, that's just another way of saying crap old tree, isn't it, Dags? Now, do you know what? If you bought this tree, you'd probably need those Christmas lights to put on it because that's a pretty plain looking tree.
I love it. A moment ago, you were talking about dodgy-ass Japanese Christmas lights as being treasures and collectibles. Now you actually look at something from the 60s, you go, oh, it's a piece of shit. Like, oh, geez,
Well,
I tell you what,
come
you
on.
sort of swing both ways, don't you, when you
That
want
looks
to?
like that looks like a green Christmas dunny brush.
Yeah, I actually remember when these came out, and it was a bit of a thing. It was the standard tree that you had in your house, and by the time you put all the decorations on them, they tend to look pretty good. Yes, very good. All right, where were we? Andrew said 75. Colin's gone 5. Okay, remember it's from the 1960s, guys. It's actually older than most of us watching this show. 55 cents from Thomas. Oh, dude, where's the optimism there? Inga, yep. All right, now I'll take you $3. Yeah, Rusky Babes, it's a marijuana tree, yeah. Robert said 20 cents. Oh, Jesus. Carol said, oh, where's the optimism, kids? $2.45. Where's the Christmas spirit? Christy said 150. Thanks. Oh, it's $1.50. Oh, sorry. Kelvin's at $7-8. Oh, my God. 3 cents for Gavin. $2.50 for Mark. Everybody's going to cheap. $2.50 for Mick. What do we got here? The tree fitty. William Lovett. Violating this 1960s Christmas tree is the violet $2.50. No one has put in a decent bid yet. $10. I love it from Joe. 30 cents from Joshua. Glennis, come to my aid, $150. If you get this, Glennis, how funny would that be? You'd be crapping over everybody else. Rusky Babe just said 80, so there you go. Oh, dear. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right, Russell. You put lights on them and you can, like, all sorts of horrible things go on because primarily, as Christy said, they're flammable, so there you go. A cat wouldn't even touch it. Hey, you got to be realistic. Back in the 60s, this was the go. If you went to Kmart, this is what you would find in the stores, and you'd be going, mate, that is absolutely awesome. So what do you reckon it went for? You're right, vintage, rare, all that sort of rubbish. 1960s, obviously been used. Green tinsel Christmas tree. What could possibly go wrong when you put some dodgy Japanese Christmas lights on it? It went for a whopping $290. Love it.
Glenn gets it with a lot of change there, actually. So
he's got to cough up an extra 150. But yeah, what do you reckon, dude?
Well, I reckon if you came home with that and showed the family, the little kids' faces would light up, and then their hair, and then their clothes, and then you'd be rushing them to hospital.
Look at that. They're not going for it. Oh, Christ on a bike. How about that? All you unconvincing people said, nah, it's complete tripe, 3 cents and all that. And Gavin, look at that. It actually went for a few bucks.
Gavin says it's bullshit, but if they had put on it from Dagobah, suddenly he'd say $500.
Yeah, you're right, Inga. Yeah, completely right. Too much money, not enough sense. That is an absolute classic. And you remember, guys, you can't predict these things. And I reckon some people saw some of the other bids going, oh, these are really, really cheap. I'll just follow in what everybody else is doing. I'm too scared to sort of ramp it right up. But yeah, good on you, Glenn. You're not even halfway. Well, just over halfway there. So isn't that ridiculous? $290. Why? And I totally agree with you. So
you do realize after Christmas every year, you drive around and you see those out on the all-purpose disposals being thrown out. People are throwing out thousands of dollars worth of old Christmas tat.
Yeah. Totally agree. And you're right, Gavin. Yeah, it's not a tree, it's a gimme stick, which is what the stick carries that Yoda has. So, yeah, how about that? What a classic, eh? So there you go. So with that in mind, it's our last item for the old eBay section for this year. What have we got, Mr. Aaron?
Come fly with me, come fly away with Qantas Boeing 707-300, one of 200 flight model. So this is a Christmas edition. I don't know if they still do it, but airlines in there sort of in the gift shops that were at the terminals used to sell replicas of planes and stuff, and a lot of people would collect them, and there'd be, the one with the Aboriginal designs on, or different signs, different paint jobs, and they'd be very collectible. This is a Christmas one.
So the last tree, the Christmas tree we had a moment ago, everybody chucked in like loose change from the back of the couch, right? Now It's the complete opposite. So let's kick it off, shall we? Angie's at $6.45. Carol's gone for $9.80. They've all learned their lesson now. Gavin's at $7,500. Colin's at $3,500. Joshua's at $750. Kelvin's at $570. Rob is at $1,000. Mark is $1,500 plain spotted dollars. Rusky Babes, who knows a bit about his airplanes, is at $520. Thomas is at 80. Chrissy's at 105, so the prices are now starting to drop. Mick is at 1,800. William is at 1,200. Where are we? Yes, and yeah, that's where. And Inga has come in at 125, which is particularly groovy. I think I said William at 1,200. Yeah, violating the Qantas airplane is the Vile at 66. Glenn, who's already won one tonight, is at 300, and Joe is at $2 for Greg King. I love it. Complete opposite, sort of like following opposite the trend. So there you go. And I love the fact that at the start you said, "Come fly with me." You just started singing the song and said, "Dude, what have I told you about singing on the show? You're killing people." So there you go. And in fact, my cat right now. In fact, I've just got to do this. Sorry, my cat right now, after you started singing, has decided to turn her back on me. She's not even watching the show anymore, so she's given up. Oh, goodness gracious me. So very, very cool. All right, where were we? And Grant has said 25. Okay, good stuff. All right, so what do you reckon it went for? It's a Qantas Boeing 703 flight model. Have a fantastic Christmas. That alone must be pretty damn rare. So there you go. And his dog has just rolled over in pain. Very, very good. So what do you reckon it went for, guys? Everybody chucked in these massive bids. It went for a whopping, there were 16 bids, so it obviously must have gone for something. It went for $275.
Yeah, which is about what it'll cost you to get a flight to Tasmania at the moment.
Ironically, yes. Providing you've got all your jabs and swabs and all that other stuff. So there you go.
Yeah, so this is another one of those things where maybe if they'd put a buy it now at double that, it would have gone. There's obviously a lot of interest in it because there was 14 bids, and these things are quite collectible. So I actually think that was a reasonable price, but I'm not an expert on the area. Glenn has taken it. That's 2 for him tonight, isn't it?
Yes, he's done very, very well. Well done, Mr. Glennis. So if you can't book a flight to go to Queensland or somewhere else, you got your own plane now, so you can have a whale of a time. So how good is that? So yeah, very good. The Vile, yeah, Lulu, that's my cat, was offended by the Vile files. Mate, everybody was offended by the Vile file. What are you talking about? So yes, it's the kind of thing everybody will complain about it, but people will continue to watch it. So how good is that? So there you go. Now, I'm going to answer a question. Anything you want to say before I move on, Mr. Aaron?
No, go for it, mate.
All right, so guess what? Now that while everybody's still watching, it's actually commercial time. One of the questions we got asked earlier tonight: what's happening next Wednesday? Well, funnily enough, nothing's happening next Wednesday, but something happening next Thursday. So just sort of let you know that because the show is going to be on hiatus for a month. Aaron and I have decided to get together to do a live review of the Book of Boba Fett, which starts next Wednesday, funnily enough, which we will be doing a review the following day on Thursday, on December the 30th. So if you're interested in participating, you've watched the show, there will be spoilers. So you just got to be aware of that. And you want to see us yap on about the show and see what we thought. Everybody would be in the same boat, sort of only having seen it the night before. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the show and give us our thoughts. And if the show takes off, we'll do it for the following episodes as well, because I don't know how many, about 6 or 7 episodes. What do you reckon there, Mr. Aaron?
I'm looking forward to it. I think the Sarlacc did it.
Yeah, I think so too. So there you go. So we don't know what to expect. We're just going to watch it, talk about it the following night. And of course, we encourage people's comments as to what they thought, whether they liked it or not. But anyway, that's going to be next Thursday on December the 30th. And if that doesn't float your boat, cop this one for a bit of craziness. I've decided to sort of go it alone. So on the 5th of January, this is actually the same night that this show would normally be on. So obviously we're not going to be on next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, just because I want to keep the time slot going, I'm going to do sort of a bit of a Sci-Fi Zone Nerding with Me sort of show where I'm going to be talking about the original V, the miniseries. Now, there's only going to be 4 episodes, okay? Count them until the end of January, and then hopefully with a bit of luck, Rip It Off the Card will return in the same time slot. So if you're happy to listen to me ramble on about V shit, or if you're a fan of V, feel free to join us, and we'll have a bit of fun, and we'll chat about that. And, of course, each episode will cover a different topic. So there you go. Very, very cool. So how good is that? There's complete nerdy madness coming up in the next few weeks. What do you reckon there, Mr. Aaron?
There you go. How good is that? Will there be any singing in it?
Well, if people want to put in requests, may I say, not in a shy way, although Taubman's helped me, I did it my way. There you go. What is this paint? What has it got? Look at this, see? She's coming over now. If it's from Taubman's, it's got the lot. And I must say that it was fun. And looking back, now that it is done, the whole house shows, and the good wife knows I did it my way. Where the hell are we going with that? Do you like it? When you sing, the cat walks away. When I sing, she comes back.
When I sing, we lose viewers. They held steady for you.
Yeah, they're going to bugger off now. Yes, you too can see more of that again. Yes, very, very good. Look, oh, what are you doing, mate? Just go away. Go play on the fairway or something. There you go. All right, very, very good. Bravo. Yeah, very, very good. Would you wear a rubber mouse? Yes, maybe not. So. Yes, V's for vile. There's all these comments. I missed a whole lot. So, but anyway, yeah. So if you're interested, come and join us next Thursday for a bit of a chat about the old book of Boba Fett. How good is that? Which is not a segment on the show because Aaron wouldn't allow it. So there you go. Your ears are bleeding, as is everybody else's, as they should too. Encore, you want another one? I could send it, Verzi, so I could check your ears, Char. Anyway, that's slap your neck, but I'm not going to sing that. All right, very, very good. Greg, that's a $2 special. What do you reckon there, Mr. Aaron? Very, very good. Anything you want to say? I've got to stop talking. I'm talking too much.
No, I think we've got rid of all the segments over and done with. The Vials finished for the year. Greg King's finished for the year. eBay's finished for the year. Pop's finished for the year. That leaves just one thing, doesn't it?
Certainly does. We actually have a feature presentation tonight to show you. And of course, it's particularly exciting. It's all about a movie marathon. So what have we got, Mr. Aaron? Go for it, old son.
So this is Santa's movie marathon. And what we've done is we've done a segment where we look at Christmas movies that have spawned merchandise. And when I say Christmas movies, they might not be movies that we all consider traditional Christmas movies, but they have Christmas merchandise that have come out because the movie is so popular, or it's set at Christmas, or there's something Christmassy about it. So this is sort of a catch-all for those movies that are shown every Christmas or are set during Christmas that you might not realize have Christmas merchandise produced for them.
Very good.
So the first one obviously had well, this is sort of is a backwards one because the movie was about Christmas merchandise. It's Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger and a even younger than episode 1 Jake Lloyd playing Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. But this is an interesting movie because it is a movie about the commercialism of Christmas and what we do to please our children. And then the movie was totally unmerchandised. There was one Turbo Man figure, didn't sell very well, didn't produce a lot of merchandise for it, didn't do all the traditional things you would usually do for a movie about Christmas that has Arnold Schwarzenegger in. But what we're looking at is years later, so 30 years later, it's become a bit of a Christmas tradition. So there's the original Turbo Man in the center, and to the right is the Turbo Man from Funko that you can get now. And it is pretty close to the original. The original used the packaging that was in the movie. So the one that they have done as a reproduction also uses the packaging from the movie. Then, of course, Funko have gone all the way and they've done your pop vinyls up in the top corner where they've got Turbo Man and all those other things. But there was also a Jingle All the Way card game that was released. So there's been more Jingle All the Way merchandise released in the last year or 18 months than there was when the movie was in the cinema and big. What do you think of that? Did you ever like Jingle All the Way, Dags?
No, I wasn't really into Christmas movies specifically, so I didn't actually see it. So, but that's one thing I tell you, there is one thing I would see. I've got to say, from the Vile, he said, "Phantom the Nerds singing off the card musical." Now that is something I would say.
So, if we go back to the slides of Jingle All the Way, if we go back to the previous one, what's interesting there's figures, but they're the actual figures that were used in the movie. So those top 3 were the ones that were set dressings in the movie. They went at prop auction for, I think, $10,000 US each, so about 15 grand each. So you're looking at $45,000 worth of Jingle All the Way merchandise there, which if you put that together with everything else that is sold, that probably made more than all the merchandising for the movie put together.
Yeah, so the people who sold it, they said Jingle All the Way to the bank. So
Yes.
That's exactly what they would have done too. You going?
I was just actually wondering, is there any Christmas movie that you watch every year as a tradition?
I shall be discussing that later on because there is one. It's not Highlander either, by the way, because there can only be one of those. But there is something. So don't you stress on it. There's more coming, but this is not one of them. I can assure you of that.
Now, here's another one that's a bit of a family favorite, and this is, turns up in a lot of houses on TV every Christmas, and it's on streaming, and they've just released Home Alone 4 or 5 or something on Disney that I haven't checked out yet. But the first two Home Alones were quite amazing movies. They were big budget comedies, and they were so big, they had someone of the stature of John Williams doing the music. And I think that's why it's become such a classic movie, because sometimes you make these slapstick comedies and they are what they are, they're slapstick comedies. But this one went a bit further, where they had a good cast, a good director, a good script. They layered it with good characters, and then they had great music. But they didn't have a lot of merchandising for Home Alone and Home Alone 2. So yeah, still, I think, some movies come and have their time, and some movies are pretty timeless. And Home Alone is basically one of those movies that you can watch over and over, and it is one that bears repeating. Now, here's some of the merchandise that came out originally for Home Alone. This is some of the electronic stuff. So when Home Alone originally came out and Home Alone 2, you still had your Game Boys and your Nintendos and Super Nintendos, and Home Alone was quite a popular game. There's also a handheld game up the top there, which is from Tiger Electronics. What I find interesting, Home Alone, I think, is one of those games where kids that watch it do want to be Kevin, because Kevin epitomizes what kids would like to be able to get away with. They'd like to be home alone. They'd like to control everything, eat what they want, and then they would like to cause havoc and, get away with stuff. So I think that's why it's a bit of a timeless movie, because when you're little and you watch it, you can imagine being Kevin, and then as you grow up, you see it from different angles as being a parent or indeed being a cat burglar.
I can never understand is the fact that they actually made 4 movies. And I said, how often can a kid be left at home by himself? That's the bit that just didn't register with me, but whatever.
Yeah. So this is some of the new Home Alone merchandise. And when we looked at the Lego Advent calendars, one of the ones I didn't look at because it wasn't the traditional one is the Lego Home Alone Advent House. Now, when you get the Advent calendars, you open up a different Lego gift every day. The Lego Home Alone Advent calendar is actually a $400-500 set where you build a Lego Advent calendar that you can open every single day. The interesting thing there, and I mentioned it earlier, is it's done really well as a soundtrack. And a lot of people collect John Williams music, and Home Alone is actually a really good soundtrack if you want to listen to a instrumental soundtrack at Christmas, because it weaves a lot of classic Christmas carols into a John Williams soundtrack with themes, and it is quite good to have on in the background. And of course there, Dags, we have some of your favorite Home Alone pops, and Marv and Harry come in a double pack, so you can get Kevin or you can get the Sticky Bandits or the Wet Bandits, depending on what movie you're watching it from. Do you have any Home Alone merchandise, Dags?
Hang on, let me just think about that for a second. No. Am I planning to get some Home Alone merchandise? Let me think about that for a second. No.
Well, the funny thing about the Home Alone merchandise, in the first slide we saw, you could get the screaming Kevin for both movies where you push his back and he screams. But they come with batteries, and when the batteries go, they just start screaming without you pushing the buttons. So, yeah, if you've got one in the packet, mint, and you don't want to take it out, you've basically got to put up with Kevin screaming on like an off 90s electronic sort of voice over and over for days.
I'm not interested in a screaming Kevin, but if someone was to give me one of those things, you have a screaming Dags, what can I say? All right, now coming up, a lot of people do actually rate this as like one of the best Christmas movies of all time, which ironically, it's not a Christmas movie, but that doesn't matter. People love it.
So here's what we're talking about movies that, aren't Christmassy, but are set at Christmas. And some people, like you say it is the best Christmas movie of all time. And I think that is one of those things, because there are people that get sick of the saccharine, super sweet, like orphans redeeming their life type of Christmas movie. This is an action movie that is set at Christmas, and it being at Christmas is part of the plot with the Christmas party and things like that. At the time, there was basically zero Christmassy merchandise released for Die Hard. When Die Hard came out, the only thing that really came out at the same time to support the movie, apart from the posters and all that, was Die Hard video games. And again, like Home Alone, there was various games on different systems. So you had the PlayStation and you had it on the Sega Master System and things like that. And Die Hard got released on different systems. And even though the movies progressed and they did different things, the Die Hard original game has always been a very popular one. Do you think there's been much Die Hard merchandise come out that is Christmassy since it's become more known as a Christmas movie?
I would assume so, because I tell you what, there's some stuff coming up. And if you love pop vinyls, get ready to just get excited.
So there has been a little bit of merchandise released, a lot more than originally came out. And I think what's happened is the producers and the owners of the rights for Die Hard have actually embraced the fact that people celebrate it as a Christmas movie. And I think we had the other week someone telling us about the Die Hard advent calendar, where every time you open a window, Hans Gruber falls further down the Nakatomi Plaza until on Christmas Day he hits the bottom and dies. But what I found really interesting there in the top left is actually a Bruce Willis Christmas decoration, which is him crawling through one of the air vents or the air conditioning in the movie. And you can hang that from your Christmas tree, which is not one of the most conventional Christmas gifts. But we've got one there for Jeffro, the special edition box set with all the movies, and it comes with the Nakatomi Plaza case that you put all the movies in. But for all those people who do love pops, we've got the Die Hard pops, and probably where we have the useless pop of the week, one of the ones I actually think is quite funny is the dead guy on the chair with like, ho, 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 now I have a gun. That's kind of really ironic because pops are meant to be these cute and collectible little figures, and you've got one that's dead, covered in blood, and been killed by John McClane. Oh, and he's got it. Well done.
I love it, mate. You get on the show, at least get your quotes right. You're like, now I have a machine gun, ho, 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 not ho, 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 now I have a gun. Oh, Aaron, thank you. Shame, son. What can I say? For that reason, this is one thing that you and I will not be doing, trading play.
Now, Trading Place is an interesting one because I forgot that it was really set at Christmas. But of course, there's a scene in it where Dan Aykroyd is dressed as Santa, and when he's at his absolute lowest and he's stealing food, and the dog comes and urinates on him, and he pulls out a gun and shoots himself, and it doesn't work. Again, this movie had zero merchandising when it was originally released. You could buy the poster. That was about it. But since then, it's become one of those classics that people do watch at Christmas, and they've released a 3-record soundtrack from it. There's all this different current merchandising from T-shirts and different things that you can get online. And of course, they've brought out the pops, where you have got Dan Aykroyd's character as like the hobo Santa, as well as Eddie Murphy's character, where he's pretending to be disabled and begging for money. So pop will go where other franchises, wherever other licensees won't.
Yeah, exactly right. I'll tell you what is funny, though. This is one for the vile file. What you could actually do is get 2 gorillas, one the actual gorilla and one the guy dressed in the gorilla suit, and actually have them doing, things to each other, so to speak, because that's effectively what happens in the film, even though it happens off screen. So,
yes,
yes,
the poor fate of Mr. Beaks.
Yes, exactly. It's a good way. Now, that's a pop they should make.
Yes.
That would not be a useless pop of the week. What can I say? So there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, but I love Trading Places. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was very, very clever, actually. There's a bit of a deep down sort of hidden message underneath it. But, yeah, very, very cool. Speaking of saccharine bloody Christmas movies...
Well, this is another interesting one, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and that's, of course, the T-shirt I'm wearing for tonight's show. But this was a Christmas movie that did really, really well. It was written, I think, by John Hughes and really did well in the box office, came out before Christmas, so plenty of time to merchandise it. At the time, they released zero Christmas merchandise for Christmas Vacation. Now, I guess at the time there weren't a lot of comedies that did do merchandise for them full stop, but you would thought after two other successful movies, Chevy Chase when he was at the height of his popularity, a Christmas theme, they might have taken a punt on releasing some Christmas merchandise for it. Now, this is more recent merchandise, and what I think is funny about this, it is the high-end merchandise where you can buy different components to set up your Christmas village, and they've done a Christmas Vacation set that you can add to your Christmas village. Now, can you imagine making this sort of expensive Christmas village, and then you buy Cousin Eddie's trailer, which is like a broken down Winnebago, and you've got him outside with his hose flushing out the shitter.
Yeah, exactly right. And I guess the funny thing too is none of this stuff would have been cheap either. So, if you're on a budget, you go, oh, I'd love to get stuff that for the Christmas Vacation, but no, we spent all our vacation money on the actual toys for Christmas. So there you go.
Can you just put Russell's comment up there about
I'm
the
about
toilet?
to actually. There we go. Okay.
Well, all I can
Not
say
once
about
you
that,
go to the
Russell,
toilet. We're hard dudes here, man. What can I say? We're nerds who know how to keep our nerdiness.
Well, Dags is a hard dude. I was just going to say that's why we only film from the waist up.
Oh my goodness. Let's move on.
Okay, so here's some of the more recent Christmas Vacation stuff that you can get, and they have done plates and ornaments, and again, cousin Eddie flushing out the shitter as a Christmas ornament. Genius. They've done the vinyl idol of Clark, and one of the things that I didn't realize, and this is some of the very cool continuity that's in the movies, you can see the little glass that Clark uses to get the eggnog from. Now, I always thought it was a reindeer. I did not realize it was Wally Moose from Wally World, the previous movies. So I really like those kind of little details that are in the movies. But there is a Christmas Vacation board game, Christmas Vacation socks, Christmas Vacation Christmas paper plates and napkins. So now it's gone from one of those movies that they didn't merchandise at all, and they've gone the other way where every year they know that people will get their Christmas Vacation stuff to theme their Christmas parties. Are you going to any Christmas parties this year, Dags?
Yeah, apparently I'm going to one. I'll be chowing down on the Aaron specials. But I don't know, for some reason there's this whole conversation going on about ourselves, as it were. You've got to bucket out a shot there. If it's out of shot, then we've clearly haven't placed it in the right spot. So there you go. And of course, you're wondering why my cat is sitting there like that. So 1,000 of my uses for a pussy. Oh shit, for a pussy cat. So, oh geez, we're getting out of control with this one. So,
we just got a strike on YouTube. Thanks for that.
Do we? Yeah. Oh, that means that someone's watching it. And Glenn's the only one watching on YouTube, so he's obviously the one who did that. So there you go. Anyway, can't believe that people are actually talking about this. All right, we move on.
Yep, and again, as you can see, they have done the Pops. Is there anything that Pops won't produce? This is so popular, they've also done Dorbs, which is like Pop's younger brothers. But you can get the Pops of Clark and Eddie, but you can also get Clark in his car with the tree that they've just cut down, which, I mean, okay, but it's going a bit far when they go to that extreme. You can also get Christmas Vacation snow globes, Christmas Vacation albums, and again, Christmas Vacation t-shirts and jigsaw puzzles and mugs. So this is one of those movies that shows that even if something isn't originally merchandised, as it grows and gets older, like a fine wine, more and more people come back to it.
Yeah, I don't know about the fine wine part, but crazy stuff. So, yeah. Hang on, and Thump Scream. Yeah, they have. Was it? You still on about this, Rusky Babes? Get over it, son. Jeez, I tell you what. Actually, you never know. If you were to use such a thing from him and Aaron and myself, they might be collectible after the fact. You never know. And let's move on now. Talk about this. Look, now she's back again because she knows it's almost time. There you go. Hello, little puss. There you go. Get you. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. It's only time we get to sort of show. Oh, here we go. Now I'm out of focus. All right, I'll fix it up in a sec. All right. Anyway, so hey, get off the. Speaking of really, really cool things that's just come out recently, we're talking about this.
So here we go. Ghostbusters 2 was one of those movies that was set at Christmas and New Year. And even though it was a plot point in the movie at the time, especially the New Year with the spirit of New York getting through the slime that was covering the museum at the end of the movie. Ghostbusters basically did not merchandise that it was set at Christmas at all. In fact, the only original piece of merchandise that I can find that even acknowledged it was Christmas was one in the card set from Ghostbusters 2 that just basically says Merry Christmas New York, and the Ghostbusters have Christmas hats on. So at the time, even though it was a Christmas movie and it was part of the point of the movie, even though merchandise came out for Ghostbusters 2, not a single piece came out that acknowledged it was Christmas or came out for Christmas or tied in with Christmas at all. So it's one of those movies that people don't remember as a Christmas movie, but it was. Do you think they've released anything more modern with Ghostbusters 2 at Christmas?
You know what? You can't help but look at that picture of the guys with the hats and think someone just photoshopped them on. So yeah.
Yeah. So of course now anything that's related to Christmas, of course they're gonna push. And one of the best things about them just being Ghostbusters with the hats on is they can re-release the standard figures and just put Christmas hats on and call it a special edition set. So Ghostbusters 2, although not really having much Christmassy merchandise released for it when it originally came out, they have released a 4-pack of the Ghostbusters and them individually with Christmas hats, fully acknowledging it was a Christmas movie. And you can get Vigo the Carpathian, who probably wouldn't wear a Christmas hat.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the pops of these to come out, and the hats won't be removable; they'll be attached. So you'll have the guys without the hats and the guys with the hats, and of course you've got to buy both sets. So the old collect them all. So there you go.
Yeah, and then in general, though, there was a lot of merchandise released for Ghostbusters. So I think one of the rarest things there that I had never seen till I was researching this, you could get a free Ectomobile if you bought Fuji film. So if you bought like the 3-pack of Fuji film, for those people who don't remember, used to put in cameras before they were digital and get a much better picture resolution than you do now. But that was something that was available. And then since then, they have released different things. We're looking at Ghostbusters 2, which wasn't as popular as the original Ghostbusters. And there's the Scoleri brother ghosts. And there is some of the packaging has the V for Victory, like Ghostbusters 2 logo on. And there's a really nice Vigo the Carpathian playing with Oscar the little baby there in the corner. And there was even a Ghostbusters 2 board game that came with hundreds of little figures and even the Statue of Liberty head. So what do you think of that?
Very, very cool. Gavin asked why poor old Slimer got jibbed on a hat. Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. So, you know why? Because eventually they will put a hat on him and release him as a pop as well.
Yes.
For whatever reason, Ange is just going through all these, like, it was the National Lampoon's Vacation, just all these quotes regarding that. So, not too sure what the deal is with that. Now, I've got a bit of a story to tell you about this. I don't know if you knew this at all, but good old Gremlins was originally made in, was going to be made in Russia. Prior to the film coming out, and when they produced the movie, they thought, "What are we going to call it?" So they decided to call it Kremlins.
Oh, you got one in before the end.
You know how long it took me to get to that point? I'm sitting there waiting for it to come up. I was like, "Come on, how away can it be?"
Oh, it's the A-grade material like that gets us like tens of views every week, isn't it?
Someone out there's going to go, "That is an awesome joke. I'm going to use that next time I'm talking about Gremlins." Anyway,
Gremlins 3, Gremlins in the Kremlin. There you go.
Nah, mate, it's too late. I've already had the joke. You're just trying to cash in on my success, aren't you? So there you go. Yeah, Kelvin sees he's behind it. He's going for it. So there you go. Anyway, move on.
Sorry. Okay, so Gremlins 2, Gremlins 2. Gremlins was originally set at Christmas. It was part of the plot where the Mogwai was originally got for Billy as a Christmas present, and then things went horribly wrong. Gremlins always kind of acknowledged it was a Christmas movie, and even though it wasn't heavily merchandised originally, a lot of the Gremlins and the Mogwai have came out with Christmas hats and dressed in Christmas gear. He tells jokes. He snorts.
1,001 uses. What can I say? Anyway, yes, very, very cool. Hang on, where are we?
And as you can see, they've brought Gremlins Christmas stuff out. I particularly like Stripe there, dressed as Santa Claus with Gizmo stuffed in his sack, about to go down the chimney and do terrible things to him. Dags did something really good in the shop a couple of weeks ago. He found a bunch of Mogwais stuffed down the back of the shop dressed as Santa Claus, and he said, "It's Christmas. If we go and put these down the front, they'll probably sell." So he put them down the front of the shop, and one sold instantly. So well done, Dags.
Yeah, I didn't even have to do the hard sell either. So there you go. Very, very cool. I just took the show down to a lower level. I don't know what that actually means. So there you go.
Lower
Hang
than
on.
the vial? I don't think it's possible.
Don't know how long I had to wait to use the tree fidium. I'm not sure what that means either. It just sounds good. I don't know, but there you go. Hang on. Another YouTube strike here. Well, there you go. There's plenty more. And next Thursday, and on Nerding with the Dags on the 5th of January, there'll be shitloads more of them. So there you go. Very,
Yes.
very cool. Yeah, that's right. It was a Mogwai dressed as a Santa. That's what they have. And there's still one more in the store too, by the way. So there you go. Very, very good. I've been hitting the eggnog. Good stuff. Yeah, it looks very, very groovy. So, but yes, Gremlins is actually a pretty good Christmas movie. There's no doubt about that as well. Although, funnily enough, some people said we had some people come to the store and they wouldn't show it to their kids. They thought the violent parts were just a little bit too violent. So there you go.
It is funny because you get some parents come into the store and say, "Oh, it's too scary for my kids," and then their very kids turn around and say, "Do you have any Jason or Freddy figures?" And the parents sort of get embarrassed because they won't let them see Gremlins, but they know all about Jason and Freddy.
Now, here's a chance to do some sales, actual sales of the store on the show. Gavin's asked how much for the Mogwai. I think it was 29, wasn't it? Off the
I
top
think
of your
it
head?
was, yeah.
Oh, geez, look at that. We'll even give it to you for 25. There you go. How good is that, Mr. Aaron? Gavin. So there you go. Very good. All right. Now, this is something that another movie that was set at Christmas time, but is not a Christmas film, even though there's a lot of Christmas stuff in it, of course, was the old Batman Returns.
Now, this is amazing because Batman Returns shows some integrity in that it was set at Christmas, and I could not find a single Christmas item that was released from Batman Returns during its original run or the merchandise in many years afterward. So I went to the biggest Batman expert I know, and I said to Dags, as a Batman expert, do you remember any Batman Returns Christmas merchandise?
Nah.
Not a thing.
But I do want to remember one of the greatest quotes from the movie regarding Batman Returns and Christmas is when the Ice Princess says, "The tree lights up, and then I push the button." No. I push the button, and the tree lights up.
Yeah, well, there is the famous. There's the famous quote what I've put there about the mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it, but a kiss can be deadlier if you mean it. So it was even a part
even
of
deadlier. Get your quotes right. Even I knew it was even deadlier. Crikey's, man.
I'm paraphrasing. I don't say all the quotes are going to be correct. It's a misquote. Anyway, but since then there has been, like, even though Batman has been produced in every single freaking variation you can imagine, from day-glow orange lava suits to jungle suits and different camouflage, there has never been for Batman Returns a Christmas set, which I find quite interesting because you would think that would be a no-brainer for them to release a Batman, a Penguin, and a Catwoman as a Christmas 3-pack for Christmas, and it would sell gangbusters.
Two things. Mark has said, has the Catwoman? No, she has not. We discussed that in the earlier in the Greg King's Cheaper Thing, so that's still on the way. And some people might have been a bit irked about the fact that in Batman Returns, they do actually beat Batman Santa up. With the Red Triangle Gang beat the shit out of Santa in one scene, and that probably would have disturbed a few people. But
it's interesting because there's a few different sets of Batman Returns cards, and I went through them, and there are no Christmas pictures. There's some in the background you can see it's Christmas. So I think maybe the whole beating Santa up, maybe they said, oh, that's gone a bit too far. Because remember at the time, McDonald's and a few other people were upset that it was too much of an adult movie. So I think they said, all right, we're going to just ignore Batman stuff for Batman Returns and wait till the next one.
Yeah, but yes, alongside Die Hard and a couple of the other ones, yes, it is a very good pop culture sci-fi movie. But I tell you what, right, we've gone all this way talking about science fiction movies at Christmas and all that, and sure enough, as you can imagine, on this last show of the year, friggin' Aaron has had to bring up effing Doctor Who.
Well, it ticks all the boxes. It's a sci-fi show. They do Christmas episodes. This was particularly looking at shows and movies that do things at Christmas, and if they're merchandised because they do things at Christmas. Now, Doctor Who, in the 60s, there was one episode that went out on Christmas Day, and that episode is sadly missing. But that shot is from that episode of William Hartnell, and he famously broke the fourth wall, turned to the audience and said, "And a Merry Christmas to all you at home," which probably freaked out the kids that were watching Doctor Who. They're like, oh my goodness, he knows it's Christmas and he's talking to us at home.
I actually thought he was going to use a classic Aliens quote and looked straight at the audience and said, "How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit?"
which would be very, very clever. But as a time traveler, he could do it because it was 20 years before that quote existed. You can see down the bottom, for the original Doctor Who run, for the original series, there wasn't much Christmas merchandise. There was, as you can see, the Santa. And this will make you laugh, Dags, because there's a chocolate Dalek that was released at Christmas. Imagine what that looks like when you took the wrapping off.
Yep, totally agree. There's a great quote here from Grant. He has a weeping angle on the top of his Christmas tree. So he's got one of those protractor things that's shaped like that. He's a scientific dude, that Grant. What can I say? Eh? So, yeah, it's very, very cool. That is awesome. Mr. Thomas has said, so yes, that is very, but you are right. A Chocky Dalek today in the fridge. Oh, yeah.
Now, the great thing about the BBC is since the show came back in 2006, there has been a Christmas episode just about every year. Even years where there weren't a series of Doctor Who, they managed to put out a Christmas episode, or in recent years, the New Year's Day episode. But the first few Christmas episodes truly embraced Christmas. So you would have killer Christmas trees, evil robotic Santas, aliens invading at Christmas, the Doctor in his gym jams running around on Christmas Day trying to defeat alien invasions and get everything done so everyone could have a nice Christmas. And there you can see there has actually been merchandise from a lot of these Christmas episodes. So there is the killer robotic Santas, and then there's they were in the service of their masters, the Sycorax, and down the bottom you've got the Sycorax, what were released as well. And then we have the Cyber King that was in one of the Christmas episodes, the Next Doctor. And of course, what does everyone love at Christmas? Giant spiders. So we have the Arachnos, which was one of the bigger aliens from Doctor Who, which was a giant spider that turned up to ruin Christmas one year. And also down the bottom, you've got the Cyber Shades, which were sort of steampunk Cybermen that were in one of the Christmas episodes.
I'll tell you what is interesting is that you're right. Doctor Who has done the whole Christmas episodes and everything. It's been very successful, and a lot of people love it and all the rest of it. And yet, ironically, the other big, long-running sci-fi series, Star Trek, has never done a Christmas episode ever, like not once. And in fact, I don't think they've even referenced Christmas. And we once had a discussion as to what?
What does Santa need with a starship?
You're a freaking idiot. Couldn't even get that quite right. And somebody once suggested, maybe they did it intentionally so they didn't have to seasonalize their episodes, because unlike Doctor Who, they know when the episode's going to be shown. But yeah, if you're a Star Trek fan, you say, Doctor Who's done all this great Christmas stuff. Where's the Star Trek version of that? And there isn't any. And I think some people would be disappointed by that. But by the same token, it probably makes a fair bit of sense that that was the case. So, yeah.
Yep, so here is another batch of Doctor Who toys for Christmas. So you can see a lot of big budget Hollywood movies didn't pump out a lot of merchandise for Christmas. And you've got the BBC, which is basically a non-profit organisation, and they just opened the floodgates. The top there is a particularly interesting set because it's got Kylie Minogue in, Local Girl Gone Good, and she was in one of the Christmas episodes. There you go, Kylie Minogue was in Doctor Who, and it was one of the highest rating Doctor Who episodes ever on Christmas Day. I think it got 13 or no, it might have been 16 million viewers overnight because it had the Doctor and Kylie and Christmas and all of that. So they have released Kylie Minogue as the Doctor's one-off companion Astrid and the evil angelic robot hosts. And there's mini statues and action figures of them. And then Matt Smith came up against the evil great intelligence that took the form of snowmen. So you have the evil snowmen turning up one Christmas. You have River Song's husband in The Husbands of River Song. You have the ghost from The Return of Dr. Mysterio, and the real Santa Claus that turned up in an episode of Doctor Who, played by Nick Frost.
I always wondered if Santa's workshop is in the North Pole, how did they fit that alongside the Fortress of Solitude that Superman lived in? Do you reckon he started building and he's like, hey, the neighbors have just moved in? It's like, what's the deal with that? Look at the size of this bloody house that they've built, the bastards.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably multi-dimensional, so they all live alongside each other but don't disturb each other.
Or they inhabit the same space at the same time. So you're Santa building your toys and all of a sudden you go, ooh, I just felt a bit muscly there all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're not from outer space. They're from inner time. They inhabit the gaps between worlds, or something like that. So here we have.
That one wrong too, right?
Oh, that was Crystal Skulls. No one knows that one. But and here we move away from Doctor Who Christmas merchandise that's based on episodes, but they have released quite a wide range of Doctor Who merchandise, from Doctor Who ornaments for trees, because everyone knows nothing says the spirit of Christmas like Daleks exterminating baby Jesus, as seen on an episode of Mr. Bean. And then we've got Doctor Who snow globes, Doctor Who TARDISes that hang on the tree, Weeping Angel lights, Weeping Angel tree toppers. You've got Missy as a Christmas ornament, who was the master, and then you've got the various versions of the Doctor, all that you can hang on your tree. You've got TARDIS tree toppers, TARDIS lights, TARDIS stockings to hang. I would think they would be pretty good because they can fit more presents in because they're bigger on the inside. And then you've got all the different aliens and monsters and canine that you can hang on your tree as well. So if you were a Doctor Who fan, you cannot complain about what they've done to help celebrate Christmas from the Doctor Who universe point of view.
I love this one from Gavin. He's gone all hardcore on me. Santa's workshop is supposed to be magically hidden. Really? Do you think by chance it just doesn't exist? So there you go.
You just lost all our viewers, destroying all those innocent childhood beliefs.
Yeah, I tell you what. So anyway, all right, so that's the Docky Who thing out of the way. Thank God for that, because let's move on to a real franchise that we can get our teeth into. Of course, that's bloody Star Wars. How good's that? Yay, team.
If you want to look at one franchise that has actually embraced Christmas and said, how much can we get the fans to pay for Christmas memorabilia, it is Star Wars. And they have done it on every single era that you can imagine, right back from the original first Star Wars movie, where Lucasfilm started producing Christmas memorabilia and internal Christmas cards, right through to Return of the Jedi, where you can see a magnificent picture of Darth Vader there wearing a Santa outfit. And then even the current stuff with The Mandalorian and Grogu, he has to be one of the most bankable and popular characters ever, and one of the biggest must-haves for Christmas for Star Wars fans. And you can see that they have really gone all out with merchandising Grogu, which is a fantastic character, and I don't even think it's hit merchandise fatigue yet. He's so popular.
Yeah, no, I tend to. They haven't gone completely psycho in terms of producing way too much. They've just produced just enough at the right quality and the right quantity, because some of the quality of the Grogu figures and the large and the small are just outstanding. But in time, he'll probably sort of fade out a little bit once people forget all about him. But for now, or at least for the past couple of months, he's been a bit of a money spinning winner. What can I say? Very cool.
Yeah. So there are so many different aspects of Star Wars and Christmas we could look at, and we could have done this entire episode just on Star Wars Christmas memorabilia. But what I wanted to do was include everyone. So look at like all the different Christmas movies that different people watch at Christmas and enjoy. There is no June Christmas merchandise, by the way, mate. I looked and there wasn't a single thing. I would have thought it'd be interesting to have a worm on the tree, but there you go. So what I have chosen to do for tonight's episode, Lucasfilm are quite famous for sending internal Christmas cards to their employees every year, and not a lot of them are really well known. Some of the images are actually very famous images, and they're painted by Ralph McQuarrie and other famous artists. Some of them I was like, I've never seen that, or they seldom get used. They've inspired action figures and calendars, and they have been used on records and books, but they were originally done as internal Christmas cards for the company. And I thought we would go through all of them starting in the 70s. Yep.
Well, guess what? I've actually got a few Christmas cards from Lucasfilm because of my connections that I had with Steve Sansweet. When he worked there, he would send a Christmas card out from Lucasfilm, and some of them were really ornate and really full on. So, yay team to me. There you go.
Well, they're an amazing collectible. And I tell you what, if you were a Star Wars fan and you decided to do a focus on Lucasfilm Christmas cards, I think it would take you quite a few years to be able to collect a full set. And you might not even get all of them ever, because some of them are quite hard to find. Even when I was looking at different years, some years I couldn't find what corporate card they used that year. But these are the ones I've chosen, and I'm sure some people will be quite nostalgic and remember these images because they are quite famous and Christmassy.
All right, so that was that image there. So yeah, definitely. And some of these, as you said, ended up in sort of other magazines and people will say, yes, I do remember some of these pictures. But yeah, I always liked the Yoda one dressed as Father Christmas. I reckon that was very, very cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, love it.
I think they're all amazing, and you can see as they go through time. The ones we just looked at were for the 70s and early 80s. As they go through time, the style changes, and they are very evocative of the time that they were produced. You can see there where they've kind of just finished Return of the Jedi, and they've got the Ewok movies happening, and there was a sort of change in dynamic of style where the comics and the pictures that were related to Star Wars at the time became a bit more kiddie friendly because the movies were out of the cinemas and they realized the merchandise that was going to be produced was going to be more aimed at younger kids that sort of grew up with the parents grew up with the franchise and now is being passed over. I find it interesting if you'd had years of these amazing photos, suddenly the Christmas card turns up with the Ewoks and the snowman there. I would have thought that would have been a bit of a disappointing one. It was almost like someone wasn't trying.
Yeah, what sometimes did happen is that, like mine, George Lucas's kids sometimes did designs for the company, like the LucasArts logo. If you remember the LucasArts where they had that shape thing with this really, really stupid figure in the middle, that was actually drawn by his daughter. So maybe they came up with the idea of it and they've deliberately done it that way. So that sometimes
episode 1 looked like it was made by 3-year-olds.
Yeah. Some of those are that's I think some of the design, the intentions.
And
I like the idea of the Death Star bauble thing over here. I reckon that's actually very, very cute.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. I think Jet Lucas came up with a lot of the names from episode 1. Not joking about that.
As Russell said earlier, yeah, it'll blow up on Boxing Day. So there you go. Very, very cool. They'll just build another one. It's all good.
Yeah. And here's some. I think these are very cool because after they went through Star Wars and you're sort of in the wilderness years where there were no movies, they went back to the original characters and reinterpreted them and used them in different ways. So you've got the Biff band in a snow globe there, which is not something I would have ever imagined. And then you've got Jabba the Hutt as Santa, and he's got like his sack full of different things. Crispy Kringle.
And you reckon my jokes are bad? Jeez, tell you what.
No, that one made me smile. Well, your one made me sigh. and there down the bottom, we finally got into episode 1. And who do they put on the first Christmas card? Jar Jar and his tongue. Now, we actually had a whole episode of the Vile File on Jar Jar and his tongue. And this didn't come up when I was searching for it, but it really shows they must have thought that he was quite an amazing character that was going to take off.
Exactly right. Now, for everybody who's watching the time, it's now 10 o'clock. William used to run off and watch War of the Worlds and like the cricket's on and all sorts of stuff. We're staying on, right? So we're not finished yet. It's our last show for the year. So you can just sit back in your chairs. We're not going to the Dunnies. You guys, there's a lot of discussion about that earlier on. So if you see us hopping around a little bit, we're taking one for the team. That's the most important thing. So we're sticking out for the long haul for so at least another 20, 30 minutes. So we've got more good stuff to come. So don't disappear just yet.
Yep, and as we move along, the Christmas cards for the different eras started changing a bit. So I think there you've got like maybe clay sculptures of Jawas that have been photographed and then used as a card. The one at the top is interesting because it actually looks like the Mambo style paintings that you get in Australia. With the happy holidays and the shadow of Vader turning into the LucasArts logo, which is quite a cool kind of concept.
So this one here I've got, they sent that to me, and the Yoda one I've got somewhere. I don't even know where they are now. So, but yeah, they just, I mean, every year when they sent them, it's like, and of course they printed millions of these things, but yeah, they were really, really groovy, very, very artistic and very, very special. Back in the days when Christmas cards were the thing, I don't even know if they even send them now. So
you should print off the Yoda one and send one to Gavin.
Yeah, there you go. Saying, I want to say, yeah, this is from Skywalker Ranch. Wish you were here. So, there you go.
Well, these are an interesting bunch as well because I think they go back to being a bit more artistic. And you've got Padme there. It's hard to see as the Christmas tree using her ornate costumes and turning one of them into a Christmas tree. The screen's so small for me, it looks a bit like a skeleton, but it is actually Padme there. And then the two middle ones, they go back to using quite realistic art and very Christmassy images. One of the things that I think is quite cool is the one on the top right there, where you open the card and a legion of stormtroopers stand up at Christmas. So that's very cool. And then we were mocking the other week the pop vinyls that look like gingerbread men, but Lucasfilm actually sent out a card where the Star Wars characters were gingerbread figures.
Now, I love this one. This is like we get a lot of really good comments on the show, right? And some of them are absolutely spectacular. This one is awesome, right? So Russell said, "This is like earlier. Hey, it's Saturday with Dag Summers, and I'm happy to go with that name." And Aaron Ostrich, how good is that? And what happened here? Christy agreed with him. It's good.
Christy and Russell have been like the double act tonight, haven't they? They've been quite good.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, to be fair, Aussie Ostrich was far more popular than Daryl. But yeah, I'm happy to go with the Daryl thing. So yeah, it's very, very cool. Love it.
And that were all the cards that we've just had a look at. Here are some of the action figures that were inspired by those cards and that art, and some of the other ones that have been released for Christmas over the years for those action figure collectors. So you can see at the top there, they did release C-3PO and R2-D2 as Santa and a reindeer, and they have got the Jawas there from the Jawa card opening presents, and the Jawa is getting a Seeker. You've got the Yoda that Dag said was a particularly good piece of art, and I think that too. And then you've got the red version of Darth Vader, which again starts to get into, let's slap it into a different coat of paint and we can resell the same figure. Now, what Disney has done at their Star Wars stores in the Disney parks, they've released annually holiday droids where you can get the regular droids, but they're greens and reds and whites, and they look Christmassy, and they've got hats on and different accessories that sort of make them Christmas, and they're only available for the month of December, and they never repeat them. So if you don't get them, they're one of those things. If you collect every single Star Wars figure, they're hard to track down because they're only available in a couple of stores, and then you can only find them online. So a lot of people don't collect them, but a lot of people love them and have a huge Star Wars Christmas display every year.
You're not going to believe what people have been saying here, right? I reckon this is absolutely spectacular. So we're talking about you being Aaron Ostrich, right?
Yes.
So Marcus said he has pity for Aaron's puppeteer. Gavin has then said, "Who's got their hand up, Aaron?" This is a vile file special. There you go. And Christy said, "I was wondering that myself." Bad images.
Well, if you're a Star Wars fan, you would actually know there's a cutaway image of Jabba the Hutt where there's actually 3 people inside me animating. There's one arm is one animator, the other arm is another animator, and then there's one doing the mouth. But guess what? There's a midget in the ass, like, who controls that as well.
So this is why I'm sitting at my place and Aaron's at his place, because if we were sitting side by side, that would be conjuring up some images that we don't want to talk about. All right, now we've just gone through all these shows, right? Yeah, Doctor Who and Star Trek and Gremlins and all this, and Die Hard and all that tripe, right? But now we've gotten to what is clearly the best sci-fi Christmas movie of all time, which we haven't even discussed or covered off. A couple of people have mentioned it earlier, and I thought, I just got to sit back and relax, take it easy, chill out. What would be the best sci-fi Christmas movie of all time? Well, guess what, kids? We actually do have the special preview trailer for it. Just came in the other day, hot off the presses. You're going to love it. You're going to check it out. It's only a minute and a half of your life. You're never going to get back. So with that in mind, I'm going to present to you the greatest sci-fi Christmas movie of all time.
Santa sets up a fantastic automatic toy factory on Mars. The Martian leader battles the wicked Voldar in a desperate effort to save Santa, the wise man of Mars. 900 years old. The Battle of the Toys, when Martian kids and Earth kids join Santa to battle the bad guys of Mars. For real space-age fun, you'll be out of this world when Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
So there you go. I've had to sit through that twice now, or even a couple of more times, and it's like it gets more painful every time. But there you go, kiddies. Yes, Santa Claus conquers the Martians. You've got to check it out. The greatest science fiction Christmas movie of all time. No merchandise whatsoever exists for that, as far as I know. What do you reckon?
I love how the Santa's automatic, the Martian Santa's automatic toy maker is like my mum's washing baskets. It's very, very low tech.
Love it. Absolutely love it. What can I say? So Hang on, I just got to press a button here. Very good. Yeah, so how good is that now? I was going to say. Yeah, you're right, Gavin. Yeah, Grant, exactly. Where's the merchandise for it? I don't think there's any at all. Yeah, hooray for Sandy, or Sanity Claus, they call him, which is absolutely insane. So you've got to check it out from the 1960s. Yes, it is a couple of hours of your life you will definitely not get back. What can I say? Believe it or not, after saying to everybody we're going to be going for like hundreds of hours longer than we expected, believe it or not, we're actually at the end of the show. How about that? So there you go. Oh, I love this one. An all-time new low for the show. Is that even physically possible? I don't think so. So there you go. Carol, you do not know what you're missing. It is quality all the way. So there you go. What do you reckon? I was going to say just quickly.
Sorry.
Regarding
all-time
Santa
low.
Claus. Hang on, hold on for a sec. Regarding Santa Claus conquering the Martians, yeah, he just stands his big black boot right on top of them because he's not coming in peace. He's there to shoot to kill. So there you go. Anything you want to say, Mr. Aaron?
Oh, just answering that comment about an all-time low. All-time low is quite hard to achieve on a show that will compromise its integrity for a good dick joke.
I love it. Oh, you love it. Grant needs a reboot. Very, very good fun. So with that in mind, so what do you want to say? We're going to actually finish up the show, believe it or not. So there you go. I'll say something after you. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone. Thanks, everyone, for supporting us through the year. I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been a lot of fun for us to put on. Dags and I really enjoy everyone's comments and love to see everyone involved each week. So we will miss you guys over Christmas. You can catch up with Dags, and we'll be back next year.
In that photo, obviously I'm there. Now, you've got a Mickey Mouse and you've got the most filthiest looking Santa in the universe. So one of those two is actually Aaron. So you guys have to sort of work out which is which. So what do you reckon, Mr. Aaron? Which one do you reckon you'd be?
Well, that was the night that I lost my working with children card.
Did you ever have it? That's the thing I want to know. So there you go. Yeah, very, 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 very cool. Good stuff. And I just want to say to everybody out there, yeah, thanks for watching the show, guys, and enjoying it and being a part of it. And it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, so we've sort of sailed close to the edge on a lot of occasions, but our aim was to sort of get everybody sort of into the collecting thing during lockdown and provide a bit of entertainment, a bit of fun. And I think we've done that. We've got a whole bunch of people who are now joining us every week when they could be doing something a lot more interesting. But
I don't know
it's been very, very good.
I don't know if you can queue it up, but there's been one person that hasn't appeared this show and really should wrap up the end of the show, and that's Spankin' the Monkey, isn't it?
Good old Spankin'. We haven't. In fact, he probably won't make an appearance next year, so let's have him here. It's still a classic, isn't it? Hey, absolutely fantastic stuff. So, with that in mind, we are going to bail out, leave you to it. We will see you next year, but don't forget, if you want to see more of us crap on about crap next week, next Thursday is the time to join us. So, there you go. So, with that in mind, make sure with all your Christmas stuff, you keep all your collectibles mint in box.
Or just rip them off the card.
Exactly. See you guys. Take care.
See you. Good night.
Drink in then?
Master. Through my straw.
There we are then. How's that? There we are. You're going to give us a song,
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We all like pudding. We all like pudding. We all like pudding. So,
Ken, what would you like for Christmas?
Master, I have decided I would like enough ball bearings to last the series through and fewer sill irons on the floors of the planets we visit. Master,
Yeah.
a question.
Mm.
What is your desire at Christmas? Back into the
Yes, there was a little bonus. You can all go home now.
Are we done? Is that
We're
all
done.
cooking on gas? So there you go. Yep, very good. All right, we're leaving. Yep, good stuff. Don't forget Aaron's store. Check it out. Buy some stuff, right? Buy lots of shit, and there's still some gremlins in there for Christmas. There you go. All right, or gizmos, I should say. So, all right, party hard, rock on, and we'll see you next year or next week.